bullshit music, and he was at the Comedy Connection in Boston. I saw him. I think I saw him there first, and I saw him at Nick's and a couple other places. Shit music, but he was doing some new thing. I was like, okay, this is a new kind of comedy. This is like Sam Kinison, but with like much more. These things they're actually detrimental.
We are pretty much done with this Sentinel head. Got him re-topologized, got him all ready to go. So now we are going to work on some Sentinel hands and get to work. That's about it. So if you want to join in, click the link, and happy sculpting, dude. What's going on, Joe?
Not much, man. Just working on my game stuff as usual.
Nice.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh, thanks, brother. Should be making some Sentinel hands.
Welcome back.
Hey, Robert, what's up, man?
Hey, Frog Man.
What you been up to, dude?
Miss you. Still working on your video game?
Yeah, of course.
What happened to the other game you was working on? You had a green light on.
Oh, that dude was trying to release that game without me, even though I paid for it.
What that mean? I don't understand.
Right.
Exactly. That's a problem. Yeah.
Right. Like, he was just trying to release the game without me, even though I paid for everything and programmed half of it. Exactly.
Hello, guys. You hear me?
What's going on, Angel? You gotta make sure you turn down the volume on your computer because we can hear the echo.
Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume.
For me.
He said pump up the volume.
No, that's not what I said, Robert.
Pump up the volume. I'm actually working on another one right now. I was doing some typography work.
Nice.
Yes. I just want to get a rocket ship and just get out of Earth, man.
Me too.
Oh yeah? We're gonna go all drab on this stream. We're gonna go. This is going straight depression. Here we go. Oh yeah? We're gonna go all drab on this.
Whoa! I can hear somebody watching the stream.
Yeah, dude.
That's not me.
Yeah, it is, Robert.
What?
We all know it is.
Whoa, I can hear somebody watching the stream. Right there.
Yeah, not me. See, I turned mine off. Mine's already muted. You're doing it. So Joe, you ever create touch screen touchpad? You're doing it.
What? Touch screen?
Yeah, iPhone or Android.
Oh, I can't cook for mobile that well.
Why?
I don't know. I did all the NDK, SDK stuff, but it just doesn't really run and work on my computer. I don't know why.
Why? Explain.
I plug in prerequisites for UE4 stuff with C++. It just doesn't work for some reason. I don't know why. Me and my buddy tried to figure it out for hours. Prerequisites for UE4 stuff with C++.
Oh, okay. I figured it out. I figured out, Joe.
I just sent you some pictures.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I figured it out. But I did saw you was as you was trying to make an Android. You had the mobile kit.
Yeah, I was trying.
What is it? It's gonna be a third player or?
Yeah, this is gonna be a third-person stabber game.
Stabber gang?
Game. Yeah, I need one character for now. Basically a psychotic like character. We're on live, so I may not talk too much more about it.
Yeah, Robert. Stop trying to get people in trouble.
I don't mean no harm. Say no more.
Alrighty, so... So what are you doing, Robert?
Just be in this room with you, buddy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what it's all about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You should have made everything modular.
Yeah.
But good job, though. Nice.
So what are you working on over there, guy?
He's working on his level design. This looks beautiful.
That these things they're a foolish way to approach this world. This world is incredibly complex, and we can all look at it together. And I was like, "Oh, this is a new kind of comedy."
How was it going down in there?
Really good and really bad. I saw him bomb horribly, but bomb with grace that I've never achieved. He bombed like he didn't give a fuck about bombing. I've never been able to do that. He bombed like a guy who almost knew the future, knew he was going to have some sort of an impact on the culture, and knew that this was just a footnote in that incredibly impactful experience on the art form of stand-up comedy, and also knew that eventually he'd find his own audience, which he did not have at the time. Because he was at a small comedy club, Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, which is a couple hundred people, and there was a guy who went on before him who was a real hack. Nice guy, but just hacky bullshit, cop donut jokes, that kind of shit. Just everything you've already heard before, nothing original. And he was killing with all this simple, stupid shit. And then Hicks went on afterwards with this like really bizarre interpretation of modern civilization. Everybody's like, fuck this guy. And people were getting up and leaving in droves. And kept going through the whole thing, and me and Greg Fitzsimmons was there, and a bunch of other comedians watching him bomb. We were laughing our asses off. So he was playing to the back of the room. The comedians that were still there laughing were laughing hard in support, but people were getting up in giant chunks and leaving. At the end of the show, you know, the show was whittled down from like 250 people to like 40 people and 15 or 20 comics. That was all that was left, and we were howling laughing. And he got off stage like nothing happened.
He would not compromise.
No, he was an interesting guy.
So then, go on, and then that's what he kicks you off into the McKenna realm.
Yeah, he's the one who introduced me to McKenna by that joke, just by saying that. And then in hearing Hicks's references, there was a few other guys that he sort of referenced their ideas, like Noam Chomsky was another one. Like one of the things that Hicks was famous for saying was actually a Chomsky line, was that about the Iraq War, that it's only really in a war when two armies are fighting, and that was like,
that's a direct Chomsky quote.
It is, and it's and Hicks, well, he it's not. I don't want to say it's plagiarism, because I bet if you asked him, he would tell you it's a Noam Chomsky quote. But he was introducing that concept and that idea to these people through the world of stand-up comedy, and then from there he expanded on that with all of his material about the Iraq War and all the new weapons that they're doing and
farming equipment.
Yeah,
starting that Shane bit. Yeah, so, and I think you give him that because it's so like the stuff he was doing was so innovative and incredible and funny. Like sort of say you look to like say you say Kinnison or Lenny Bruce before that, like from what I've experienced of them, and I'm not by any means an authority, he did, like Bill Hicks did make it more densely humorous. Maybe not when you see him live on that, but by the time he was recording specials and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Also, like, I've always thought that Bill Hicks, it was extremely refined and honed work, wasn't it? It's like, like you can see incarnations of the same content many, many times with him. He at least in the stuff that I saw, because I've only ever seen him, recorded stuff. He wasn't going out there. He wasn't like doing lots of spontaneity and lots of like, it was like they were like beautiful, very articulate pieces of work.
And sometimes they didn't even make people laugh. I watched it with this girl I was dating at the time in like 1993-ish, something like that, and she was like, yeah, he's not really funny, but he's really fascinating to listen to. Like, she didn't find like some of the things he was saying were funny, but I think that was also the Revelation show, which he filmed in London, which was one of those weird shows where you're doing an HBO special and you have one show ready to go. And there's some weird pressure that's involved with that, and it doesn't necessarily always come off loose, and like the feeling that you see him when he's at a club where he's expressing himself in a much more free way.
I felt that a lot of his comedy high points across his content came from his ability to do characterization. Like he'd do like a sort of a long bit that you used to like, oh my god, this guy's just hitting me with data. But like when he does, I believe God created me in one day. Like those things were always like,
looks like he rushed it.
He lets you, like I think he does let you off. And then as well, like the thing that I think that Revelations was the first thing that I ever saw of his, like when I was a kid. And like when he does the marketing rants, like anyone advertising marketing, kill yourselves, I couldn't believe his sincerity. I couldn't believe that someone would hit you with that much heart, quit putting a $ on every damn thing on this planet, that someone would talk like that, someone meant it so much, like that was from the heart, huh?
Yeah, well, it resonated. Whenever something resonates and stays, I mean, it's also, there's so much mythology involved in him now because he's passed on and he died young, and we always sit back and wonder, like, what would it be like if that guy was alive today?
He didn't have the outlet then.
Yeah.
Where that's, again, now you can go back and look at a guy like that because it's there. And back then, you weren't ready to handle that.
Yeah.
Who was talking like that? I'm coming to comedy club. I want to laugh.
Yeah.
I don't want to think tonight.
Well, Hicks,
I got my date. I don't want to hear this shit.
Hicks was,
but I don't know. What were you saying?
So Kinnison opened the door for Hicks because he was one of the outlaws, and Kinnison had a lot of bits that were like that, but they were more humor based than point of view based. Like, he had points of view, but the points of view had to be really funny. Whereas Hicks had a lot of points of view that was like, there's got to be a way to introduce these ideas into people in the form of stand-up comedy that maybe not even aren't that funny, but are very important. Whereas like Kinnison he had some ridiculously funny bits, and he did it in this totally unapologetic way that I think Hicks kind of absorbed. And when I first saw Hicks, is one of the things, he had a lot of Kinnison in him. Like, we all have influences, and when we're starting out, you hear other comedians that you really love come out of your own mouth, almost like with the intonations and the inflections, and you almost kind of mimic them in your delivery.
Yes.
And Hicks did a lot of that. When I first saw him, he was doing a lot of Kinnison. And it was interesting. It was like, this guy's clearly influenced. And you don't know whether or not he was influenced by Kinnison or Kinnison was influenced by Hicks, but most likely it's probably a little bit of both, but more Kinnison than anything. Because Kinnison was much more successful earlier on, like several years before Hicks really took off, and was revolutionary. When Kinison came on the scene, he was completely revolutionary. So I think him taking Hicks with him, you know, because they were part of that Houston group that originally expanded and then came to L.A., I think he just showed that there's just some undeniable power in being that controversial but on point.
Because it's like stand-up is one of the, it's like an original American art form, isn't it? It's like its precedent prior to America, like prior to being in the United States, was not like that art form didn't exist in the same way. Like it's called gestures or jesters rather, and musical. It didn't exist in that kind of way. And in a manner, like the podcasting is a very natural medium for a comedian because it grants you that long form. Because I've always thought like that, you know, the more like it can be that the more truthful you are and the more articulate become, the more you reduce your audience. You know, when you think of like hitting up rooms of 2,500 people or 5,000, you know, arena gigs, like if you want to go wade in there with fucking Noam Chomsky bloody quotes, you know, you better have a dick joke to finish with.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to have some way to connect those things with humor, almost like scaffolding in between ideas.
Yeah, because you got like that. That's the thing I think about sort of like, you know, keeping the ball above a certain level. And like in a way, this medium, you are relieved of that. You are allowed. It's like, fuck, just sort of sit back for a while, listen for ages. The aspect of comedy that I think is so important of authenticity. You know, when you're a start-up comic, people go, oh, you got to find your voice, you got to find your authenticity. And like you were saying, that you hear the musicality of comedians, you admire in your own voice. That like when you're doing 5-minute sets or 10s or 20, like it's extremely difficult, isn't it, to become robust enough with that. But here, I guess you get to really explore what you are authentically in a kind of a long, safe form.
Yeah, especially 10-minute sets. Those little short sets you do. Those are just you can get a bit out or a series of funny things that you can say. But as far as like any real depth, and part of what comes out that's really funny is like if you watch someone like Jim, part of like what his comedy is like you'll understand after you see him for 15 or 20 minutes, oh, this is how he makes fun of things. This is his personality. So you kind of get his vibe.
Yes.
And then another subject comes up and you're laughing before he even starts talking about it because you're kind of following where he's going to take this.
Yeah, you've signed up to that. Oh, I'll enjoy this perspective.
You're tuned
now.
in. Yeah, you're tuned into his perspective.
Kinison was a huge influence.
Yeah.
I loved Kinison.
Yeah.
Why?
He was the first, hands down, he was revolutionary. It was like seeing Metallica for the first time. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Look at the way these people are reacting.
Yeah.
I never saw an audience, a comedy audience. He made them nuts.
Yeah.
He made them almost want to go in a mosh pit. And no, I don't think Carlin would dance around being Catholic and kind of expose things, but not. I mean, Kinison comes out and he just in a biblical way. I thought my mom tried to make me go to church and make me a good person. I learned more about biblical and just how common sense wise listening to him. He made me think about it. He come out like, Jesus is never married. No wife is going to buy the resurrection. And he go into this whole thing about he leaves on a Friday. He's with 10 of his friends. His wife is pissed. Like, where's all those losers that call themselves disciples? Everyone that says, I believe, we put up and feed them. I'm sick of it. And I sat there and went, holy, dude, the common sense of this is, why doesn't anyone talk about the common sense of this? He just put it balls out there. Oh, he can get away with it because he was a preacher and he knew the Bible and he knew everything about it. And he would sit there and he comes home on Monday. He looks like shit. There's dirt all over his face. And he sees his cross out on the lawn. And she's like, where you been, Mr. Savior? As well, I don't have nothing, but I was dead. I'm fighting death, decomposure. I'm in the spiritual world and I got to get back because she don't know where I've been. And then he went this whole thing about, they doctored this whole Last Supper. Like, Jesus and me, am I gonna betray you? And he say, suck my dick. You know who the fuck you are. You already fuck. We can't write that. We'll say, drink of this blood. But just the common, he dumbed it down to made me really think about that one. Yeah, this is...
It's also like we said about Metallica, the force of his delivery was unprecedented. I mean, no one had yelled out punchlines before the way he did it.
You married? Yeah, you were? You married? Hey, how long you married? 2 years? Good. Remember this face. No one came at you like that, but it was more than shtick. It was freaking hilarious. Yeah. And it made a lot of sense whenever he talked about the devil. Yeah. Devil coming down and teaching you. It's just, dude, it was sick. I remember him talking about, well, you said becoming famous. Because you know how fucking hard it is. You finish your show. You're trying to stay married. Chick comes up, I want to strike your dick. No one will ever know. I'll fucking 2 fingers in your ass. And me and my friends will fucking fuck you till you can't even fucking breathe. And then you go home to your wife. No one will ever know. Like, you know what? You know, I'm married. She's on her period. And we're in the middle of a really difficult time. But thank you. Thanks for the offer. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he was a real wild man. He was like, he introduced rock and roll sensibilities to comedy.
Right. That's what I was attracted to. Yeah. That whole rock, crazy, loud energy.
Well, he was also so different than everything else at the time, which was like the roll your sleeves up. You know, did you ever notice, how come when you get a cup of coffee, there was like this sort of observational comedy boom back then, and he came along with this roaring monster.
His first bit ever on TV ever, I think, was the African bit, which was huge here. Yeah. Like, please help these poor children. Help these poor children. And he comes out and he's going, I'm sick and tired of seeing these commercials. And they try to make you feel guilty. You're sitting there watching. How can you sit there in your air-conditioned room and heat and your cupboard full of food? What kind of sick fuck are you? You can give him $1. And then he goes into the whole thing. Don't send them another thing. They live in a fucking desert.
Don't send them money. Send them someone like me. Someone's going to go there. I've come here. We came here 500 miles, and we realized we wouldn't have to travel this far. A few people live where the food is. Come here. You live in a desert. Come here. Taste it. It's sand. You know what's going to be 100 years from now? Fucking sand. We got deserts in America, too. We just don't live in them, asshole. 2 trips. Got the trucks. Get you the fuck out of the desert. And that was one of the best examples. Like, people always like, there's a fucking trend now. Good comedy should always punch up. Comedy should always punch up. Bullshit. Nonsense. Comedy should be comedy. It's just like rap music or fucking gangster movies. It's indecipherable. You cannot decide what's funny and what's not funny. And that is one of the best examples of it, that African bit.
Oh, huge. Roars. That changed my, it's simple, it's funny, it's a real topic. Yeah. And I actually sat there and thought, why are they living in a fucking desert? Are they retarded? Like, why can't they move? This is stupid. I don't get this.
Why don't you help them? You're right next to them.
Yeah. Don't feed him yet. Didn't get the shot. The goddamn light was not ready. The fucking mosquitoes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fucking mosquitoes.
Such a great bit. And again, a great bit if someone did it in 2016. But in the 84, it was revolutionary.
Yeah.
85 maybe 85, fucking revolutionary.
Yeah, it's releasing you from the sanctimony. There's so much sanctimony that you're weighed down and you're not able to have an authentic reaction. There's so much of yourself that you're repressing, and it takes him. And like, you see that, again, to return to that archetypes conversation we had, that the trickster, the role of the trickster, like, that comes up in Native American myth, is like the coyote or the raven, or they say that like even Christ is a trickster in moments in the Bible. Like, there's people that go, da-da, that's not reality anymore. Like, that's a trickster function to go, like, you know that there's a prescribed way that you're supposed to respond to that African commercial. Well, look, there's this alternative way of responding to it, and to present it comedically. It's so, you freed me from reality. It's like an unchaining.
And you know what's interesting about him? Did you ever read his brother's book, Brother Sam?
No.
His brother wrote a great book about Sam, and one of the things that he said is Sam's emergence of who he is came out of a car accident. He got hit by a truck when he was a little kid, and it changed his personality radically. He had a serious head injury.
Wow.
He got knocked the fuck out and came back fearless. And that's a common thing: impulsiveness, fearlessness, and rage. These are constant themes that come out of head trauma. So it's interesting. Like, one of the most important figures in the history of stand-up comedy might have literally been birthed because of trauma, like physical brain trauma.
That's brilliant.
I never heard that.
What an intervention. It's a brain-damaged pioneer.
Yeah.
Were it not for that head injury, this whole scene would never have been discovered.
Say your
He was
name.
a different person. Like, before that, he was like quiet and shy and a normal kid, and then bam, he gets hit by a car, fucked up, put in the hospital, the whole deal. Comes out of that, he doesn't give a fuck.
Well, he just tastes death.
I don't think that's it.
But he still becomes a preacher, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so what the fuck's he doing with that head trauma
I think
during
we're the
the
only ones
experiment?
But it was that was how he delivered.
Oh, yeah,
And if you say here, in the name of Jesus, he had this explosive sort of dynamic delivery. And I mean, I don't want to attribute all of it to the head trauma, because obviously there was some genius involved in his creativity.
You definitely blew my. I'm a little.
No. It's not. It's not a negative thing. I know. Look, I've dealt with a lot of brain trauma because I know a lot of people that have gotten fucked up from fighting. You know, there's a real thing that happens to people, and you hear about all the time when they do these shows on NFL players who become explosive, and they get crazy and impulsive, and they get very violent, and some of that has to do with repeated trauma to the head. Well, just one event, one car accident, one thing like that can literally change your personality, because there's a very fragile dynamic of synapses and personality, neurochemicals, the brain's actual, like, the flow of chemicals of neurochemistry, and the physical body itself, and the way your personality manifests itself. All those things are directly connected. And an event like what happened to Sam Kinison literally reshaped an art form.
What about them people that get head trauma and suddenly can speak perfect French? Have you seen them on the internet?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, they get knocked over the nut, come back with perfect French. It's a common phenomenon, and it can be checked out online anytime.
Is that true? I've known they get really good at math.
What are you doing in here, Hiram?
Does someone have to teach them French?
It's almost worth the risk. I don't want to belittle head trauma. I mean, there's definitely a downside, as you've said. You may come back extremely aggressive.
Or you might have a headache forever. That's also
You hear what
possible,
Robert
too.
was saying about you,
It's a lot
dude?
easier and quicker. It's much quicker satisfaction than getting
You hear
those
what he
stupid
said about you,
books.
dude?
I don't have patience for them books.
Foreign accent syndrome, an accent. A rare
I
medical
want a whole
condition when
language.
patients develop appears to be a foreign accent.
Chinese
I don't
teacher
think
wakes up
that's-
stroke speaking English. What about that? Like,
Whoa. How about that? But that's the Daily Mail. They might have just made that up, so we'll click on it right now.
Yes.
These motherfuckers. I don't know.
Because
I do know.
Yeah,
We have to
an
end this, though,
earthquake?
unfortunately,
How do- I mean,
it's
it's-
420.
He once posted that I died in the Mexican earthquake. And I told him, hey, don't do that. Take that off. What are you saying that Hiram died or no? I think Hiram died in the Mexico earthquake.
That's funny. Fucking Robert.
You're joking. How long have I been in here?
420.
I
We've
can't
been here for
remember the
3
rest of
hours
my
and
fucking
20
life.
minutes.
I don't think I'm going to adjust to. Like, I've got to go and see my
Without a
girlfriend and
computer for
stuff
the
and be
next, I
like
think.
a normal person.
Well, you're
This
going to
is
have
it.
to
It's
continue.
happening.
You're
What
going to have
time
to
is
keep
it?
doing podcasts. It's 420.
What time do we come in here?
Jim and I have been here since 10 a.m.
This is 5 hours.
Bullshit, dude.
This is like 6 hours.
Yeah, you and I have been doing this for 6
Oh,
hours.
wow. I got to make some calls. Too bad.
So what are you doing in here, dude?
Listen, man, if you're ever in here again, you got an open invitation. Of course, you know you have an open invitation.
Thanks, Joe.
Any time, man. Please, we got to do this more often. And
That's a
you
it's
really should
wonderful
do your
experience.
own.
Thank you.
And it's a
Joe.
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks, man.
All right, you fucks. That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
My mind, my poor mind.
Wow. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you. And thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in
do.
You gotta be very confident knowing
fraud. So they didn't accept my payment, so I had to reorder it again from them. I told them don't fucking what's it called? Deny my credit card this time, and make sure you guys ship it in less than a week. Supposedly it takes 2 weeks, and I told them you guys better ship it in less than a week, because you guys fucked up. So we'll see.
Don't be getting those notifications, dude.
Which ones? Oh, that's because I unplugged my what's it called?
Yeah, man. Don't be making any of those fucking noises, dude. I don't want to hear that shit, dude.
Why? Yes, sir.
You know how sensitive I am to them motherfuckers.
I'm fucking hungry in the motherfucker.
What'd you bring me, dude?
Burger with fries.
That's it?
Fries and ketchup right here.
You get some of that spicy ketchup or that regular ketchup?
Regular. Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Yo, what up, Joe?
What up? I'm just working.
What you working on?
I'm making a platformer game.
Mm. Let me see.
Wife's calling. I got you.
Oh, nice. Oh shit, that shit's pretty tight. Fucking cardboard box, man. That shit's crazy.
He's just a proxy for right now, but I targeted him. He's down the UE4 mocap rig.
Looks pretty cool.
Just kind of like making the buildings and stuff.
Nice.
That typography. I made a texture, right? You just take the texture. And it's actually just a sprite. Cool, right?
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually just a PNG from Photoshop, and then you turn it into a sprite in Unreal, and you can drag and drop it.
Oh, nice.
So, not bad. It's supposed to have like a very carnival like feel, but
is this a personal or client or?
No, it's just for myself.
Oh, cool.
Like I have a Trello for it and stuff.
Nice.
But it's just like solo. There's a story and stuff, but I'm not gonna go into it.
You're gonna give us the elevator pitch, dude? That's very
elevator pitch? Okay.
Yeah, the very disappointing if we don't get the elevator pitch, dude.
Okay. So the game is called Jabster Rabbit, and basically Jabster gets trapped in what's called the Everhell crystal, and it was given to these little kids by a gypsy for them to trap the monster in their bedroom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, they take the crystal back to the gypsy, and she puts it on the shelf, and then suddenly you are Jabster. Like, that's how the game starts. So he was turned into a lich by the crystal's magic, and so he has to go here to Everhell, and he's basically stuck. So if you go into this portal and you haven't finished the game, you basically end up in the saloon again. So no matter what, you end up back in the saloon at the bar. Like, if you die, like, so what there'll be like paths that leave like the little town of Everhell, and they go off into like all these different like portals, and each portal is like a different nightmare, like Sandworm World, etc. So like, but if you die anywhere in those, you come back to Neverhell or Everhell.
Oh yeah, it reminds me of Psychonauts, where you had like the where you had like the central hub, and you would go to these different places, and it would be a different theme for each one.
There's a reason they do that, and that's because of scope. I mean, there's many reasons actually that it's good to do that way, because like you can call, like, let's say Everhell, we can call that a persistent level, and then you can add streamed levels offshoots. So like once you walk up to the door, it like loads like all the content from that part, and then it throws away LODs and stuff. It's just a good way to do it. So yeah, I mean, that's the elevator pitch. Oh, you play as the villain though. Like, that's the kind of fun part about it. It's like it's all gory, and you like stab the shit out of people, and he makes like crude jokes. He's kind of like Chucky, if Chucky and Roger Rabbit had a baby.
Oh, man. Cool. When's it gonna be done, dude? When we get to play it, dude?
I don't know. I actually just scrapped a demo. Like, I had a project that I was doing in 2D, and I'm just like, I felt so sick of it. I could show you if you want. I was just very sick of 2D side scroller, and so you can go up or you can go down. You know, that's it. So I'll play you the demo so you can see it. There we go. I made this in maybe like 1 month or something. So, title screen, you can choose your graphics level. It was meant for mobile, so it's all buttons. And it looks like this, so you can punch to attack. I animated that and stuff. And then you can like power punch, pow, and it like shoots like a gun kind of. Dynamic cameras, so like when you go from place to place. Elevators with stuff. Ragdolling when you die.
Oh, you're getting your ass whooped.
Keys to open doors, or like if you're like a speedrunner type, you can actually just neglect the key if you're good and just ride this and boom, break through the window. Collect brains. Deal with bosses. Ow, damn, he hit me really hard. He didn't. So you can like fight the tentacle monsters. I think I got him, yeah. See, 2D is weird, like there's no kiting involved, just like you make it or you don't.
Right.
So now, new trap, spears. If you die to anything, you go ragdoll, basically. So yeah, that's it. Like, the end of the level would be, I'll just speed run it this time. Woo! We made it. Boom. Game over.
How long did it take you to make that?
So that's like 1 month.
Nice. I want 12 more of those. Right?
Levels?
12 more games just like that. Right? And go.
Yeah. Good. I started that one I was doing last night. There's a lot of code stuff though, like so no art really. I'm not that much of an artist. Like I'm kind of like in between art and code. I'm not like amazing at either, but
so you're more good at putting things together in Unreal than actually creating the characters, like modeling.
yeah, like I can sculpt a little bit. If you look at my profile on Facebook, it's like I have like some like okay stuff, but
you got ArtStation or Pagebook. I mean, art page.
Yeah, I do. Go to zincsonk.com.
Post it up right here. Post the link on your on the chat so I can follow you.
My ArtStation is not updated. I wasn't really looking for a job or anything though, so I don't really keep up with it. That's my website. Yeah, website and my Facebook.
What about ArtStation? I mean, you got ArtStation?
Yeah.
You post there often or no?
I don't really keep up with it, no.
Right.
I wasn't really looking for a job in CG wise. Like if I was, then yeah, definitely.
So you just doing it for fun? That's it?
Well, I have my own company.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to release games like on Steam. I have some apps on like Google Store, Congregate, some other places.
Nice.
I think it's Joe Corbett. Is my name? No, maybe not. Oh yeah, this is Joseph Corbett.
I like this one. This one's pretty tight. It's pretty funny. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen, huh?
You're Hiram.
Yeah.
Cool. Did I say that right?
No.
No.
You should know whenever gets my name right.
Mm.
It's you're pretty close though. Hi.
Hiram.
Okay. Hiram. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you know Robert Foster. Yeah, I know him for almost like 5 years. He's never ever got my name right.
Yeah.
It's always
this
different.
mech thing.
With a different way to pronounce my name.
What's this mech thing for?
Oh, making this Sentinel head.
Sentinel.
They're gonna make a mech hand for it because I got this.
Sentinel.
Because I got this. That's fine. Okay, we get it.
Sentinel.
All right. So I guess this is gonna.
Wolverine and Sentinel. Gotcha, Ron.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, so it's Sentinel and Shiznit. Come on, man. Stop with the notifications. Stop with the notifications. Alrighty. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, it just got stuck. Okay. So I got this Wolverine that I got. He's gonna be standing on the Sentinel hands with the head somewhere in the background. So I'm just putting all this stuff together and concepting out a finger and seeing what I can do. That's about it. you too fast over there, PJ?
Yeah, I'm done.
That's looking pretty sick, the Batman. And that's probably gonna look pretty sick too. That's new Zbrush.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, that good shit. Yo, what's up, King's Letter? Mm-hmm.
You use light boolean on that?
Yeah.
Finger?
Yeah.
Thought so.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Oh, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go. Might be back later.
All right,
See you
brother.
guys.
Bye, Joe. Fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Get some paneling going.
Okay, I'm gonna hit this fucking resin. I haven't smoked weed like in 2 weeks now, I think.
What's your deal?
I'll get a hit off this resin.
Yeah, you need your fix.
Yeah.
Good, man. Everybody needs some medicating. Just don't cough. You all right over there, Gringo?
I feel like something's stuck in my throat.
Feel that shit you were talking.
That damn fries. All right. What happened?
It's just that little whistle.
Oh, yeah. Fucking empty whistle of that fucking pipe. Nice, don't got hit though. I got hit.
I got it. I got it.
Oh, shit.
Now you're gonna die for it.
Oh shit. Damn. Man, that's a waker. Man, that shit woke me up. God damn.
Are you good now? You good? You all sorted out, mate.
One more. Oh man, that felt good, bro. I needed that. That little whistle did it. Oh man, you give me fucking watery eyes. Not even when I fucking smoke, like with weed in it, gave me watery eyes. make me laugh while I'm eating it.
So did you see that Star Wars trailer? What's up, dude?
No, not the new one.
All right, good, man. Don't watch it. Anybody out there that hasn't seen it, just continue not seeing it, okay?
Did you watch it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Yeah, I hated that nowadays they fucking show like half of the movie almost.
Mm-hmm.
Trailer, you know what I mean? Like basically you tell that exactly everything that happened almost. That's the whole fucking story. What was that? Was that for you or for me?
No, it's for you, man. I ain't got those fucking sounds. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Knowing that you're turning your back on the guy real quick.
It's weird how the different ways people figured out how to fuck people up. I was watching a street fight today between these two chicks.
Here?
No. It was on Instagram. Somebody said.
Oh, was it the one where the girl said, "Kick my ass, bitch! Kick my ass! You said you were gonna kick my ass! Kick my ass, bitch!" It was two white girls sounding like really ghetto black girls.
I didn't even listen because my wife was there. I just watched.
To a blonde girl and a and her head hits
around.
the car.
Yes,
I've seen that one,
dude. See, you know, she like throws her to the ground. She kind of curbs her a little bit too.
Yeah.
Just beats the fuck out of her, and she got attacked.
Yeah.
She totally turned around, beat that girl's ass.
Yeah, and she kept chasing her, and that girl kept talking shit.
Yes, while she's beating the fuck out of her.
I'm like, well, you know, if you hit her on the jaw, maybe she'd go to sleep and you wouldn't have to hear her talk anymore.
But the girl, my point was, when she had her down, she's hammer fisting them.
Yeah.
Like, people know that's a legit move now.
Yeah.
Like, MMA has changed street fighting forever.
It really has.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
People know. They know what to do now.
Yeah.
You know, and you could see, like, especially with kids, there's a ton of videos of trained kids who actually know how to fight, and they get attacked by someone who doesn't know how to fight, and they wind up arm barring them or getting them in a mounted triangle.
Like the kid that did that, Cat Williams.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, that kid was a wrestler, yeah.
Yeah, he was 17.
I thought he was only 15.
50, whatever he was a teenager.
Yes.
He got him in a nice, he stretched him out and everything. He got his back and just stretched him.
What the fuck is wrong with Cat Williams?
I don't know, man.
He's one of us. What's he doing?
I don't know. He's one of us, but he's also one of those guys, it seems like, who's hitting that pipe every now and then. I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny those allegations.
There's definitely some stimulants involved.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
Yeah, something's gone awry.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by him because I think he's one of the best comics alive in bursts, like in moments. But then he'll have these horrible, wretched shows where there's class action lawsuits or people want their money back, and he winds up leaving. But then he gets it back together and has some amazing stories. Like, he'll put together a special and have amazing stories based on all the fucked up shit he did.
It's almost like he does it on purpose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think he does. But it seems like he could right the ship. Like, he just like, fuck it, I'm steering into the wind.
Yeah.
He steers into the wind, and then he's like, all right, that did not work out. We got to get the Cat Williams boat back online.
We got to turn this around. There's an iceberg coming.
Yeah, and he figures out how to right the ship, and then he comes back around. But, man, when he's on, he's fucking funny.
Yeah, because he's fearless.
Yeah.
Absolutely fearless.
Yeah. He definitely does not give a fuck. And with his hair, something about that conked out hair and the sweat. You know,
and profuse sweat. That's that Molly sweat. That's that. That's
sweating that MDMA out of your system. Did you ever see the time where him and Steve Harvey they did this thing together? It was real weird. It was like they were touring together,
That doesn't make any sense to me.
At all. Steve Harvey would go on first, and then Cat Williams would go on second.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they were like talking shit about each other leading up to the show. So Steve Harvey goes on, and then Cat Williams spends the first 10 minutes mocking him. And it is fucking brutal and hilarious.
Well, I'm with Cat on that one.
Yeah, it's hard to not be. That Steve Harvey guy's a weird dude.
I've never met him, actually. 27 years in this game, I never met Steve Harvey.
Well, I met him a long time ago, back when he was essentially doing a Richard Pryor impression. When I met him in the 90s,
Yeah.
he was doing Richard Pryor on stage. I mean, it was crazy. Like, if you didn't know, you would think, like, is this guy, like, auditioning for a Richard Pryor movie or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember his stand-up at all from back then.
Well, it wasn't like he was doing Pryor's material. But he was talking as if he was Richard Pryor.
Right.
The whole thing. Like, guys, you know how it is. There's, like...
You get influenced.
Yeah. Did you ever do that?
I was always into, like, Carlin and stuff like that, so... I was not smart enough to copy Carlin.
Right.
I knew my intelligence level was far lesser than Carlin's, so I would just do what I did.
I caught myself on stage once sounding exactly like Richard Jenney, and I was like, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Like, exactly.
You went in.
Yeah. I mean, I was open micer, but I
now there's a whole slew of comics that try to sound like Mitch.
Really?
Yeah, there's a few of them out there, and it freaks me out, and everyone's on their dick, and I'm like, wait. That's Mitch, right, that they're doing?
Well, like, okay, you can't tell me names, but yeah. Well, Hedberg had such a distinct style. That would be kind of crazy. But you hear it with Attell. I mean, in New York, there's like 5 or 6 guys that I could name right now.
No, everybody at the Cellar has the same way of speaking.
They're all Attell babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or... That shut up, stupid. Everybody wants to be Keith Robinson.
Oh, that too, right? Yeah. But it's interesting. That's one of the reasons why.
And everybody with the
What's that?
That's a Cellar thing. What are you doing? I get it. What do you? They're always everything makes them.
Who does that? Who's that coming from?
When you go to the Cellar next time you
it's
talk
just
to
a
guys,
group of all.
You'll just hear everybody and you'll be like, oh my god, that's the fucking Cellar talk. I like it.
Clicks.
It is a little clicky, but
little clicks.
But I get sucked into it when I'm there too. I just do it because I'm around them. You know what I mean? I'm like, I guess this is what we're doing, guys.
Yeah, it's interesting how little clubs like the Cellar just spawn. They just take off, and it's become the spot. I mean, you think about how many spots could be the spot in New York City.
Yeah.
Doesn't New York City like have 100 comedy clubs or something crazy?
There's a ton of them, and there's new ones opening all the time, and then there's people try doing a nice one or a classier one, and
that shit never works.
Yeah, you need the nice grimy Cellar. I mean, it is what it is. Low ceiling, everybody packed in real tight, and then you get like the A-list of comics walking through there.
Yeah, just to isn't it funny that it's also funny too that like to practice, the best place to practice is a little tiny place.
Always.
Yeah.
You don't want to practice in front of a room full of people, 400 people.
Have you ever thought about doing a special in front of a tiny group of people?
Real nice, Ron.
Thanks, Pinche.
But then Sarah did the one in front of like 12.
Oh, you like them tops?
Yeah, that for folding head. Yeah, that actually looks pretty sick. Yeah.
Trying to get the same. But I don't know if I need to do it at the bottom, but I'm just trying to get the shapes right. So you said you're not going to have a computer, or you don't have a computer right now?
Well, this computer is the first one that I had bought from Liverpool. Like the first one that came in, I told them, hey, this is the wrong one. I told them to reorder it again, and it came back. They ordered another one, and it turns out it was the wrong one. So I told them, hey, man, how can you guys get my order wrong twice? He goes, I waited 20 days for you guys to get the first one, and then another 20 days for you to try to get it again, and nothing. And I'm losing money, and I'm wasting time. And he goes, well, I need you guys to let me borrow this PC that I currently have from you guys, because I'm gonna return it back in 15 days after Because no, I told them I wanted to, if I could hold on to the PC for 15 more days, while I go back home and order my the same PC that I want, but directly from Lenovo.
Mm-hmm.
And they said yeah. So I ordered the one from Lenovo that same day when I came back home from Liverpool, and it turns out it's supposed to be here by the day I was supposed to return this PC. You know what I mean? Because it only takes, it said 2 weeks on it, 14 days.
Right.
And I asked them to give me 15 days. I had ordered that PC that same day. So I was expecting the PC to get here one day before I had to return this PC back to them, you know, and get my money back from Liverpool, get my $1,900 from Liverpool and back. Yeah. So right now I spend it $1,900 over there with them and another $1,900 over here with these guys trying to get my PC. Also, it turns out that after what, it needed like 5 more days or so like that for the PC to get here, I called them just to make sure that if my order everything was going well, and then I found out that my order was canceled due that they thought that it was fraud, someone using the credit card. So they didn't want to accept it. Yeah,
So why are you
hey,
making
man,
fraudulent purchases, dude?
I don't know what the fuck is these people just don't want me to get my PC or what the fuck, dude.
What the fuck,
You know,
dude?
they already wasted like 2 months of my shit already. You know, 2 months trying to get this damn PC. I haven't been able to do shit because of that for the last 2 months. Yeah. So I talked to them. I think it was 2 days ago. Again, and reordered it again, and I told them don't fucking cancel my order. You know, it's not a fraud. You guys better not cancel it again. And I need you guys to send that PC ASAP. I don't want to be waiting no more 14 days again. You gotta try to get that down here at least in 1 week. You know, yeah, we're gonna see what we'll do our best to try to send it over there. It's not gonna be 14 days, but yeah, it might be a week. We'll try to see if we can work that out. All right, we get it sooner, better. I mean, we'll try to get it out there in 5 to 7 days, they said.
You better get that shit going, dude. Sick of waiting.
Yeah, so I'll be out with for a week without PC.
Damn it, Hiram. You're gonna make
Well,
at
I might
least
try to
10 babies if you don't have a computer to distract you.
I'm gonna go crazy. I'm probably gonna try to fix that companion as soon as possible. And I'll get it going, at least for a bit. Yeah, because I still gotta take all of my work out from my companion and pass it over. I got all my work in there that I could continue off of.
Well, hurry up, Hiram.
Alright.
Everybody's gonna be waiting on you, dude. We don't have time to wait on you, all right?
Yeah, I know.
12 people or something like that.
She did?
Yeah, she did one like with really small audience.
Oh, wasn't it Largo?
Yeah.
How big's Largo? Have you ever been to
She
Largo?
did it like in one of the small rooms at Largo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, if
didn't know.
anybody can
You're
make that
live
work,
one?
Sarah Silverman can.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's fucking funny.
Yeah,
she doesn't do enough.
She doesn't do enough, and she doesn't
So
get the
you started,
respect she
what, about an hour
deserves.
ago?
I don't
No.
think.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I mean, she's
so.
not funny on a curve. Like, oh, she's a funny
Yeah, an
woman.
hour ago.
No, I told her that once. I said, Sarah, you're one of my favorite comics. Not one of my favorite female comics, one of my favorite comics as a
Yeah.
human being comic.
I saw her at the store maybe a year ago, and she was
You got 2 people
murdering,
watching there, and I'm
just
one of them.
murdering. I was like,
I'm the
man,
other one.
sometimes I forget how good she is.
You forget how good she is, how great her jokes are written.
Yeah, I don't want a
And,
bunch of people watching me
I
make
this.
this.
I go through this little phase when now I'm back at the 0 point with no material, and I've been going out every night.
know, right?
But my trick is to go and host. So that
Weirdo.
way, there's not too much expectation on me.
Right. That's a good move.
Yeah, so I can get my confidence back, and then I can see, the level of talent around me, and what way everybody's thinking, and then I can figure out if I want to tell stories, if I want to tell jokes,
Right. Yeah. When do you write in front of a computer? Do you write on a notebook?
I don't physically write anything ever.
Really?
I think you're
Ever.
cool now.
A lot of guys are like that.
Yeah.
Bill Burr doesn't either.
Yeah, I was
got it
just
all in
with
his
Billy
head.
the other night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that conversation about that.
I can't. I feel like it's. Well, first of all, I'm too lazy. That's the real issue. It has nothing more to do with anything than I don't want to sit down and write this. I don't even want to watch my sets. My Almost Famous special's out now. I haven't watched it.
No?
It was sent to me months ago, and I was like,
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
When did you film it?
In April.
How many times did you watch it?
Not once.
You didn't watch it all to edit
Not
it?
even once. My brother was sat in on the edits, and then my mom was watching it. My mom was in town. My mom's in town, so she was watching it in the living room the other day. And I walked past, like, "What are you watching?" She goes, "You." And then I was listening here and there, and I go, "Why'd they keep that in? Why'd they get?" I'm like, "That sucks. Why would you keep that in?"
Yeah, I just watched the trailer for my special today, and I don't like watching myself either.
Oh yeah, yours is coming out in like in a week or two.
October 21st.
Yeah,
so what's the
in a
day?
week basically.
Yeah, next Friday. Yeah, next Friday, 21st.
I opened for you.
You did?
Yeah, last week my special aired. So.
Oh, I'm like, what? I'm like, I know I smoke a lot of pot, but
Cool, I might stream too.
Yeah, we've never
Yeah,
done a show
dude,
together.
fucking
We've done
streaming
Ice House.
streaming,
Oh, that's
dude.
true. I hosted that. Night.
yeah.
Well, I'll do it again then.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I like hosting. It's fun for me.
I'm there again on the 28th, Friday the 28th.
I think I am in San Jose that weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? San Jose.
Improv.
I love that place.
Yeah.
That fucking improv is the shit.
It's great. But again, I have no act. So, if anybody is coming out to see me, just understand that I don't have an act right now. So,
Well, you got a little bit of an act. Like, how much you have?
zip. I have literally fucking nothing. I have one joke, and I could say it now, but then it's over.
How much time do you give yourself before you start doing theaters again?
I wait till I got jokes, actual jokes. I wait till I got at least 40 minutes.
So do you like just keep banging it out and
Yeah,
then
just
go,
keep
okay,
going.
we're good, start
Yeah.
booking shit?
Yeah.
Or do you get in like a few months and you go, all right, now I'm going to give myself a deadline?
Deadlines are good for us
Yeah.
because otherwise we're just, we'll just keep coasting.
That's how, for me, writing a new special is very important. Like putting a special out and then chucking it and then writing all new shit. It's so important because otherwise, we all know those guys that have been around forever doing the same material.
Oh, I know some comics in Canada. Hilarious. Their acts are funny as hell, but they've been doing the same act for 30 years.
That's so crazy.
And then they give me shit. Oh, you knew the last special wasn't very good. I go, yeah, well, you know what? You haven't done new material in 30 years. So don't
They
tell
actually
me
say
shit.
that to you?
I get people that get a little brave on the internet there.
They're a little jealous is what
They're
it
a
is.
little bold.
A little jealous
You
of
know,
Russell.
they'll
Russell
make their
International.
They'll make their little Facebook statuses.
Mr. Worldwide like Pitbull.
That's it. I'm shitbull.
Shitbull. You can't help yourself.
It's a
fucking puns.
problem. I was killing Joe with the puns at Kill Tony.
Well, I was trapped in a pun sandwich between Tony Hinchcliffe on one side and Russell Peters on the other side, and the puns were flowing like water.
Would you like this on bread or a pun?
I had to start doing puns myself, and I rarely do puns. I was throwing them in myself just to keep up with these fucking guys. So
We're idiots.
Well, it's such a specific style of joke, the pun.
You know what it is? It takes you back to your father. Because fathers always did puns.
Yeah, that's like the silly, clever thing to say.
My father, or you have an uncle who had the puns. What have you?
Yeah. What have you, dude? You tour everywhere, man. Like you were in Dubai, and you go
I was in
all
Saudi
over
Arabia.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
What is that like?
You do the show as men on one side, women on the other.
Good.
So
Stay over there.
Yeah. And
Everybody segregate.
I was asking them like why? Well, like why? And they're like, and honestly, the guys were telling me, and these are like normal, it's supposed to be normal, level-headed men telling me this, and these weren't like any high ups or anything, just normal guys. Oh, because the women, they'll go crazy and they'll want to attack us still. I'm like, I look at you, but dude, and look at them. They're not trying to attack you.
They'll want to attack them.
And have sex with them in the streets. That's what they've been brainwashed into believing.
Wow.
That if these women aren't separated, they'll just come and attack you and want that dick.
Maybe that is the case, though, when you keep them separated. if you keep them from men all the time, when they finally get around men, maybe they just jump on dick like a hero on a
but the
grenade.
guys are a little too friendly with each other, as far as I'm concerned.
Gay stuff.
Yeah, but I don't even think they recognize it as homosexual because they're not attracted to men. It's just
they get horny and they just start jerking each other off.
Pretty much, I don't know that for sure, but I could see that as a possibility. If you're just around dudes all the time, just repressed.
Well, I know dudes who've been in the military who've done tours and they go overseas to the Middle East and they say that guys
What'd
fuck
you say
young
to me,
boys
dude?
all the time.
That's weird to me.
Well, you think that's like.
Well, get one, dude. They're like $20, man.
Matter of fact, someone gave me one fucking when I go return this fucking PC.
A consequence of the separation between the men and the women?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what it is. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
But when I did the show, I played right down the aisle. I stood where the aisle was. When I was on stage, I stood where the aisle was so that I didn't really pick a side.
Did you turn like a sprinkler?
Yeah, I did. I kept turning like that, yeah. Like I was just trying to water half the lawn.
Now, when you do shows like that, do you ever worry about doing something that can get you in trouble?
It's not so much that I worry about doing stuff that'll get me in trouble. It's doing stuff that they may deem as offensive. Because I know what is offensive. And then you got to worry about people's sensitivities. So I'll always ask the promoter, like, straight up. I'm like, what can't I talk about? And they're like, no religion, don't mention the royal family, and try to keep sex to a minimum. I'm like, all right.
Wow, no religion. Can't you just mock Mormons? Can't you make fun of Mormons?
You probably could.
Yeah, they wouldn't give a fuck about
they
that.
wouldn't know what a Mormon was. They would think it was a sect.
Really?
No, I don't know. I'm sure they wouldn't know what a Mormon is. Mormon's very specific to this part of the world. Wasn't it created here?
Yeah. It was created in they took over Utah essentially. What's interesting? Do you perform in Utah a lot?
Once or twice, not very often.
It's real interesting.
Great club.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Wise Guys.
Yeah.
In Salt Lake, they have two of them now, right? They have a larger one. They had the original one. I think they opened a larger one.
The one down from the mall?
I don't remember the address, but they have Utah's interesting because you have like these Mormons, but you have a lot of like really cool people that are sick of the Mormons bullshit.
Yeah.
And they surround them too. But then it's Mormons, I mean, it's a wacky cult, right?
It's very bizarre.
But they're really nice. They're like some of the nicest cult members ever.
Yeah, it's a tough line to walk because I'm not sure what their deal is. You're not sure if they're trying to convert you, but then as a brown guy, I'm like, well, they only just started letting us believe their shit about 20 years ago, right? And they only let black people in like 20 years ago.
Is that what happened? I don't even know there's any black Mormons. There's got to be like a clan of black Mormons. Please find that, Jamie.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of a group where they get together.
They're called More Than Men's.
You just get too buff, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Can't all be good, Joe.
Pretend that didn't happen. But they have a great spot. Like Salt Lake City's goddamn gorgeous. You know, they got the mountains there.
It is nice. Air is nice up there.
Yeah, I love Utah.
I walked a lot when I was there. I would walk from the hotel to the gig.
Why?
Why not?
Okay.
It's nice. Nice air. Needed the exercise.
Yeah, Salt Lake City's it's weird when you associate a place with something. Like San Francisco used to be gay.
Yeah.
So the gays can't afford it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not really gay anymore.
Yeah, they outpriced the gays.
Yeah, they did.
They did. They
did.
They moved
I mean, there's definitely some rich gay folk out there.
Yeah.
But as far as like having a community of specific people, it's more tech millionaires and shit.
It's a lot of that. There's a lot of old money there too. You know, people that have just been there forever.
There's that, but as far as like the amount that things cost in San Francisco, that's the most obscene I've ever seen in terms of like real estate and what it costs to buy a house.
Yeah, because if you want to be in the city, right?
Yeah.
But that's pretty much any city. If you want to be in it, it's going to cost you a lot more.
It'll cost you a lot more, but
I
you
mean,
can
New
live in
York
West
is
Hollywood.
insanity.
New York's insanity. But you could live in West Hollywood, and it kind of makes sense. But
you could rent in West Hollywood. It's hard to own in West Hollywood because everything, I feel like everything's been purchased by somebody, and they just rent everything out at absorb extremely high rent.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But there's stuff for sale. There's stuff, but it just does. California's so strange because of the earthquakes. Everything's all spread out, like nothing's stacked on top of each other. I mean, you have downtown, but downtown's so rare. It's
Downtown's
weird.
so new.
Yeah. Well, it is now. It's becoming new again.
Yeah, and real estate downtown's very expensive now too. I remember when they started doing it about 10 years ago, it was cheap. And now you're like, wow, it's like almost like New York pricing.
Yeah, they're turning it into an actual real city. Johnny Depp is selling some. Were you telling me about that?
What's he selling?
Johnny Depp is selling some preposterous chunk of real estate there where he's got like 5 floors and some gigantic. Well, he's getting divorced.
Yeah, so he's got to start dumping shit.
The kid's getting fucked. He's getting fucked.
Johnny?
He's going to have to give up a ton of cash. Yeah. That dummy didn't even get a prenuptial.
At least I got a prenup this time.
Good for you.
Yeah.
This time.
First time, no. First time, no, but I was only married for 14 months, so it didn't matter.
They can't fuck you if you're only married for 14 months?
No.
Look at this.
You're
Johnny
only on the
Depp
hook for 7 months.
Just listed his 5 Los Angeles penthouses for $12.78 million. He's got 5 of them?
He just sold one of them. I just said
Is it 12.7 each or in total?
Total for all 5.
Oh, that's not too bad then.
No, it's not bad at all. I thought they were all
each.
stacked. I thought it was just...
They are. They're all, it's like the top couple floors of one of those buildings. It's all 5 units.
It's all him.
Yeah.
What is he doing buying all this stuff?
They look pretty cool.
I think guys buy all that stuff because the money starts flowing in. He said, whoa, he's got some baller fucking houses.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Yeah, that's some cool shit.
Wow, that is amazing. What a cool looking place.
3 of them are connected. The other 2, I guess, are separate.
Oh, I see. So he's selling those 2 and the other 3. But the problem with apartment living is, man, you wind up paying all that money, and then the neighbor right next door has a party.
Yeah.
And you listen to his bullshit.
That's probably why he bought all those, so that way he was his own neighbor.
Yeah, that's a good move. But you're still, and also, then if you're in downtown L.A., one day the fucking earth is going to shake.
Yep.
And that building you're in is going to be useless. You're not going to be able to fix that thing. It's going to break. There's going to be structural issues. They're going to have to vacate the entire thing, and you're going to get fucked out of all your hard-earned cash, all that Jack Sparrow money.
Well, he's getting fucked out of it anyway. His earth is shaking already.
But she's hooked up with Elon Musk.
Has she really?
Yeah, maybe she'll leave him alone. Maybe she'll cut him some slack.
I did not know she was with Elon Musk now.
Yeah.
I thought Elon was smarter than that.
No.
You would think. The guy's a fucking genius. He's a thinker. He's a forward thinker.
I think he likes pussy.
Yeah, we all like pussy.
Well, he was married to some actress before that, and apparently didn't have a prenuptial with her.
Oh, it's terrible.
Billionaire and the Babe, Elon Musk, relentlessly pursued and was infatuated with Amber Heard, sending repeated emails requesting to meet the actress. Okay. I don't like the way that's phrased, because that's the work of some asshole.
Yeah, it sounds like he wanted to grab her pussy.
Who wrote that? Is that a girl or a guy wrote that?
It says Chris, so it could be either.
Yeah, right. I like how you did that.
It was written by Pat.
Remember, it's Pat. You couldn't do that today.
No.
If you did that today, they would call you transphobic.
Yeah. There's every phobic now.
She's not gender binary. Or Z's not gender binary. There's, from your part of town, University of Toronto, there's this embattled professor who's, he's like standing his ground against political correctness in Toronto. And the kids are going crazy. They're trying to get him removed. He just refuses to use the 28 different gender pronouns. He refuses to let people choose what gender pronoun they want to be called. He's like, no, I'm going to call men, men. I'm going to call women, women. Like, this is ridiculous. And this is censorship. Like, you're trying to change people's behavior.
Yeah. But here's the problem, is that people now, with all these this new liberty, they're just choosing to do things as opposed to actually being a certain way.
Yeah.
And I saw this story about this kid, Gavin something or another. I think it's in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. And was born a girl. But when you see he's a 14 or 15-year-old now, and he identifies as a male. And when you see it, you're like, oh, yeah, he's a boy. There's no reason for me to not believe that this is the right way for this person to be. But it should be case to case. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It shouldn't be. You can't just blanket statement. Oh, whatever you want to be, you can be. No, fuck that. It has to be genuine. You can't just do it because that's the thing to do right now.
It does have to be genuine, but when you open it up like that, then it gives people who legitimately feel like they're in the wrong gender, it gives them the opportunity to express themselves in a different gender. What's fucked up is that you're born a boy and you're a fucking boy. All right? You're born a girl, you're a girl. But if you're born a girl and you feel like you're a boy, you're never really going to be a boy. You know? So if I call you a boy and you take a bunch of hormones and everything, you're still not a boy. What would be nice and what's probably eventually going to happen, there's going to be a way that they can change your sex, like literally change your sex. There's going to be some way where they interfere with your DNA. They get in there, and Russell Peters becomes Russelina Peters.
Yeah, it's a little hacking on your system there.
If you were a girl, what would you change your name to?
Rose.
Ooh, I like
don't know.
it.
I think I still want to be RP.
Beautiful. You'd be beautiful. You'd be like a flower.
I'd be a beautiful flower. Rose petals.
I would be Tulip. I'd be Tulip Rogan. I've always wanted to be a tulip. I feel like they're an underappreciated flower.
They're very
You don't want to be a
popular.
rose because rose is like the king of the flowers. Like it's a lot of pressure. You know?
But then you don't want to be orchid because that's the more expensive.
Orchids more expensive than roses?
Yeah, fuck yeah, they're very expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know this?
Because my fiance loves orchids.
Oh.
And but the good thing with those is you buy one and they last for a long time. You can keep those alive.
Really? How's that?
The way they are, you wrap them around a stick and they just keep growing.
Oh, okay. So
And
when you
water
buy them,
them.
are they in dirt?
Yeah, you get them in dirt. And
Okay, so roses, you buy them and they're in a bush, so they're cut.
they're
They
cut,
die
yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that life support system thing they do where they put it in water. Like, hey, keep the roses in
Yeah.
water to keep them fresh.
Should
They're
we pull,
dead.
Yeah,
You killed them.
Should we pull the plug on these roses yet?
You know what I found out recently? We were talking about this the other day, that you can take the stem of one plant and plant it on another plant. Like I was at this ranch and they had pistachio trees, and the arms of the pistachio trees are grafted onto an avocado tree.
So that's stem cell.
No, it's not. You just tried to make a pun out of it.
I did.
Son of a bitch.
That can't all be good, Joe. You got to spit them out so that way they get out there and you find out if they're good or not.
But you can't take a rose, like when someone gives you a rose that's been cut, you can't make that thing stay alive, can you? Can you plant it in dirt?
No, it needs
Dead.
roots, right?
Yeah.
It needs the roots.
It's not going to grow roots, right?
It can't. I don't think it can grow roots.
It's over.
I think the top of the bud, can flourish still.
The flower?
Yeah, the flower itself
Can
still
do what?
It can still flourish for a little while, but the body is dead. Basically, you know,
The stem's dead.
Yeah, the stem's dead.
So, but you can't take the flower and somehow.
But it dies like, you know, in increments. It's dead from the cut point, I would imagine.
Oh, is that what it is?
I don't know. I'm assuming it would be dead from the cut point, and then it just slowly dies its way up. That makes sense, right? Oh, you can? Yeah. So I'm an idiot.
No. You can regrow a rose once you cut it off the stem? Yeah. For real?
I'm just not a horticulturalist.
Well, it's interesting to watch people who know flowers. They know what to trim and what not to trim. They're constantly like cutting pieces off of it.
That's why they do what they do, and we just pay them to do that.
Yeah. Okay, I have nothing.
I got nothing for that.
What's that?
There's even you can use it using potatoes.
I've seen that before.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So you
That's with
take the
roses?
stems,
Yeah,
you stick it in a potato, and what does a potato do?
It probably helps give it a root base, I would imagine.
Are you-
I'm making a guess.
Can people
on that.
hear you right now on that?
Yeah. I mean, you guys
Okay.
can't hear me because you
Okay.
don't have headphones
Right.
on.
But they won't do that in LA because people tend to avoid potatoes and carbs. So
They do now. It's the newest thing. Have you been on that yet?
what?
Avoiding carbs?
No.
No.
Clearly, look at me. I look like I've avoided
You don't
a
give
carb.
a fuck, do you?
I do. I just fucking like food.
I do too. I
You
give
just-
myself cheat days.
Yeah. When I was for the special, I had hired Alex Ariza to train me.
Alex Ariza, the guy who trained Pacquiao?
Yeah.
Really?
I hired him for
Did he get you on steroids?
No, he didn't.
Isn't he famous for that?
That's what everybody thinks he does, but I didn't see it. He just works you fucking incredibly hard. Like,
Yeah?
yeah. And I was like, Alex, you know I don't have a fight coming up, right? Like literally, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. I would spar 12 rounds boxing, and then 12 with 30-second breaks.
What?
And, yeah. And then after that, an hour and a half of core.
Come on.
Oh my God, I'm dying. And I would literally get home and just be in bed for the rest of the day. That was it.
So all that core stuff that Pacquiao does, do you think he got all that from him?
I would imagine so.
Because I was always wondering, I was like, I've never seen a fighter work more on their core than Pacquiao.
He was telling me, though, that Pacquiao was addicted to that, though. Really? He would have to tell Pacquiao, don't do fucking sit-ups today.
Why?
Because, you take a day off, let your muscles rest. And he was like, no, he would just catch him, just doing them all the time. And he would do like 1,000 sit-ups, something stupid. He said I couldn't get him to stop doing sit-ups. He couldn't stop. He was addicted to doing sit-ups.
That's so bizarre. That's the one thing that most people hate.
Yeah, I hated these weird planking things he made me do. I hated them.
Oh, like on your elbows?
Not even on my elbows, on the medicine ball, the half ball. He'd turn it upside down, and I would be on that, and then my feet would be on a medicine ball, so I'd be at that angle, struggling the whole time.
And he'd just make you stand there?
Yeah, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. It's a long time.
Now, how'd you get in touch with that guy?
From, Ellie Seckback?
No.
Does ES News. He's a boxing kid.
I know the name.
Yeah. He put me in touch with him.
That's a weird guy to get as a trainer, though, isn't it?
Because I wanted to get... Well, the problem was I wanted to get skinny. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to get small.
Right.
But he's Alex is one of those guys who's like, no, I want to make sure you're fit and you're in shape. And I'm like, dude, I looked the same, but I was more fit. You know what I mean?
But you hadn't lost any weight.
No, I lost fat percentage and gained muscle mass, but that's not what I wanted.
What did you want?
I don't have a fucking fight coming up. I just wanted to get skinny.
You just want to slim down.
Yeah.
Give me AIDS if I have to. Did you really say that? How dare you? Right now, Eazy-E's spinning in his grave.
Well,
Do you think he really had AIDS?
It would appear so. I don't think anybody would want to fake that one. I mean, usually now when somebody dies of AIDS and they don't want to say it, they just say he had pneumonia.
Well, how few heterosexual people got AIDS? That's what's interesting.
That's true. It is a difficult way to get it.
Yeah, like if Wilt Chamberlain didn't get AIDS, how does anybody have AIDS?
Yeah.
Right?
And Magic Johnson.
And all this, well, he did.
Yeah.
He got the HIV.
But apparently he reads clear now. That's what the word on the street is, that his tests are...
Yeah, I don't understand that. Apparently you can get HIV to such a level that your body doesn't detect it.
Yeah.
It's all very confusing. Diseases are very confusing. Commenting on any of that stuff. Like, where's the AIDS? Where'd it go? Come on. Everybody thought by the time this 2016 rolled around, we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
We'd all have AIDS, we'd all be dead, right?
Yeah, and then Chris Rock did the joke 20 years ago, remember?
What was that joke?
My AIDS is acting up. He said AIDS is just going to get to a point where it's just manageable with medication.
Oh, that's right.
And it's basically where we're at right now.
Well, it's even crazier than manageable. It's non-existent. Do you remember when Sam Kinison had that bit about it? Sam Kinison had like the most controversial bit. He's like, Sam, they say it's a communicable disease. Heterosexuals can die from it too. He goes, name one fucking guy. Name one. He goes, it's not our dance. Remember he had that thing about Rock Hudson?
Oh, I remember that.
Rock Hudson had to be on his deathbed going, it was that last fucking dick. It was that last dick. Why did I suck it? Why did I suck it? Millions of dicks. Nothing ever went wrong. Dick, dick, dick. Suck, suck, suck. It was that last dick. Oh. That guy, man. That's a guy that you can't imitate. That's a real revolution in comedy. There's only been like a few like real revolutions.
There's that distinct voice that people get, right? There's the mellow guys, there's the and if anybody does try to go that route, it's always trying to do Sam. And now there's the people that want to be Mitch, and then there's the people that want to be Bill or Louie.
The Bill one was awesome because there were so many people that were trying to be like Hicks. There's so many like Hicks clones, especially after he died, and everybody's like, I'm gonna pick up the mantle. I'm gonna be that tortured road warrior who writes poems.
Yeah, see, to me, Hicks always read to me as a angry, dorky guy, angry nerd. That's how I always saw him.
Right.
Yeah. I never looked at him and go, that guy's so cool. Sam, I looked at him and go, that guy's kind of cool. He's very rock and roll, you know?
Well, what's hilarious is Ari Shaffir, like, challenges people. He goes, he wasn't funny. He goes, show me one joke where Hicks was funny. And people get crazy. They get so mad. They attack him. They go after him. He's like, yeah, good point. He made a good point, but not funny. Next.
Yeah. I'm with Ari on this. I was never a Hicks fan, but
I'm a Hicks fan. I'm a Hicks fan. Always will be. I'm a fan of what he did, like the style. It was very fascinating to me to watch, but he definitely wasn't the most hilarious guy. It wasn't like Joey Diaz. Like you watch him and you can't stop laughing. You're just crying.
I think Kindler's a better version of Hicks.
Kindler? How so?
I mean, Kindler's got that fucking sharpness to him,
but he's a lot of sticky stuff.
He does some sticky stuff, but you almost know he's doing it on purpose.
Oh, he definitely is.
Yeah. So, but again, he's also one of those guys that only comics know about.
On your streaming?
Yeah, that's weird. I always felt like Kindler would catch on.
Wasn't he? He was on somebody's sitcom for a minute.
And what else?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What sitcom did Kindler end up?
You thinking about Patton?
I have bitrate of 3200.
Patton was on a sitcom. Patton was on Kevin James' sitcom.
Yeah, I think Andy Kindler dropped in on that every now and then too.
Did he?
Or was it Drew Carey's? One of them. Do you got that info?
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah,
what's Bob's Burgers?
Cartoon. I did a voice on Bob's Burgers once.
On Marin.
He's on Marin.
Yeah.
He's on Marin as a guest every now and then, or
how high is the bit rate?
Was he on anything else?
Bit rate has to be to do a 1080.
Comedy
not
Bang
sure.
Bang. What is that?
That's Reggie Watts' thing, wasn't it?
Reggie Watts is on that new show where he's the band guy.
Was it James Corden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched that show?
I haven't, no.
Good for you. Stay away from that TV. Go read a book.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay. Everybody loves Raymond. Is the sitcom dead?
The sitcom is dead as we know it, I think.
Yeah. It seems like it.
Well, the traditional sitcom is dead.
Do you sit around thinking about things that you can do? Or do you just...
I do all the time.
Yeah?
I think about it all the time. Ruben Paul and I have an idea for a show. But we don't know which way to go. That's the thing now.
Why don't you say it on the air so someone could steal it?
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not saying it. Well, it's my life, so you can't steal my life.
You could try.
Yeah, I know.
Aziz Ansari start gaining weight.
You son of a bitch. How dare you? I'm out of here.
I went there, motherfucker. I don't give a shit. I'm smoking a joint, even though you don't smoke pot. How come you don't smoke pot? What's that about?
I didn't like the way I felt on it. I didn't like feeling slow.
Makes you feel slow?
Yeah.
How so?
Like just dopey. I felt like too mellow, which I didn't want to feel.
Are you sure you're smoking the right shit?
I mean, this was the 90s when I tried it.
The 90s. The 90s, they hadn't figured out sativa yet.
No.
Maybe they did. People listening right now. They did figure it out.
No, back
you don't
then.
know shit.
Back then, it was either you either had cess or
that's right.
Or fucking
OG Kush Chronic.
Not even. I was in Toronto, so it was like either Jamaican stuff or the hydro stuff.
What about edibles?
That's what fucked me up.
You know the hockey?
I did an edible 11 or 12 years ago.
For solo
one of those little
mode?
2-bite brownies.
For solo mode?
But I did not.
Control Shift S.
One bite.
Oh, that's fucked up more people. Like
I just press
eating
caps
too much
lock.
edibles has fucked up more people with pot
that's
than
horrible,
probably
dude. That's
anything
horrible.
ever.
Yeah, I ate the whole brownie and wanted to fucking die.
I'm sure you've seen the 9/11 video that was on YouTube.
That's what I do, man.
Called 9/11 because there was a guy they pulled over. He had some pot. They stole the pot from him and made brownies with it, and then ate the brownies and thought the brownies were poisoned and thought they were dying. Thought they were dead.
Right.
They were like time's moving really slow. You ever seen that?
No.
Oh, fire that up, Jamie.
If I want
find that,
put
please.
my H as for
It's
transparency.
hilarious. It's fucking hilarious because it's what happens. Like marijuana, I've said this before, so please forgive me if you've heard this and you're listening. Marijuana, when you eat it, it's processed by your liver, and it produces something called 11-hydroxymetabolite. That's 5 times more psychoactive than THC. So there's THC, which you get when you smoke it, and then when you eat it, it's a totally different drug. And so when people go, "Oh my God, this is not pot. Something's in this." No, that's pot. When you
Yeah, the only hotkey I have is that Control Shift S. And that's about it.
The only key I'm using is a caps lock for solo mode, and then the G for floor grid, and H for transparency, right next to the G. Or these two could work together good. I get to them real quick. But they've been useful. Hell yeah. Should have done that like a long time ago. I'm probably gonna do a live bowling too, maybe.
Would you stop stealing from me, dude? Like, seriously, dude, stop copying me.
I'm gonna do a live bowling hockey. What else should be good?
Don't worry about it. Stop hotkeying stuff, dude.
Yeah, I think that's good for now.
When you eat it, pot when you eat it is like a totally different dimension. You open a different door, you go down a different hallway, you're in a different building. You're like, this is not pot.
Yeah.
No, it's pot. That's pot when you eat it.
I was stuck to the bed, literally like laying in a spread eagle.
Oh, the 911 call for the cops. The cops called 911 for the. It's a classic.
And I was literally, my nails were.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna the bed was gonna fly.
Yeah, I've been there, dude.
And I was, all I could do is mumble. I couldn't even muster words out of my mouth. My tongue was dead.
It's my favorite way to be.
Oh, it scared the shit out of me.
What I like about being there is that you always come back. Like, you really think you're going to die, but you always come back. And you're always fine. And you come back. Here, listen to this.
Rescue. I did. Cuba, come here.
Okay, get her.
She's on the living room ground right now.
Is she breathing?
On the ground.
Barely breathing.
Is she awake?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, can you look?
Pardon?
Can you look?
Can you look to see if she's alive?
She's laying right down in front of me. Time is going by really, 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 really slow.
Okay, well, I'm on the phone with you, and do you know how much of it you bought and put in the brownies?
Pardon?
How much did you buy?
Just please.
Okay. But how many? Was it a big batch, a little batch?
It was a quarter ounce.
Okay, but brownie-wise, how many pieces do you guys think you guys had?
I don't know. I probably had like a small chunk. Please come. What time is it?
It's 9:37. When did you guys last eat the brownies?
Probably like an hour and a half ago.
Okay, is your wife still breathing?
Yeah, she is. She's kneeling down in front of me.
She's moving.
Okay.
I know. We have to wait.
Okay, and is she Stacy Sanchez?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Edward.
You're Edward Sanchez?
Okay.
And did you guys have any other?
We get it. It goes on for a while. But what's hilarious is the lady who answered the phone, she didn't even bother. Like, she didn't rush. She knew they were fine because she was sober. Like,
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing. She just keeps asking questions. Like, if that was a gunshot wound, would she be asking so many questions?
Yeah, where
No.
are you?
Yeah, if somebody, like, blacked out, they think they had a heart attack, she wouldn't be asking so many questions. But these pot dummies.
One of my friends had one a couple of years ago when he came out here to see us. He had a cookie, and when it hit him, he turned fucking so pasty white, and he thought he was dying. He was like, and he exact same reaction. I even called my doctor for him because I'm like, anything I could do. He goes, no, just tell him to relax. It's got to wear off. That's all.
Yeah.
Drink some water.
You really feel like you're done, though. You really do. You really feel like, man, I really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it's over.
Yeah, he was done.
But you get back.
So what should I try?
You shouldn't try anything if you don't want to. I mean, you're a happy guy.
I'm a happy guy.
I would not look at you and say Russell Peters needs anything in his life other than what he's doing.
I enjoy me some tequila.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's just the health consequences of that stuff are just so different than what happens with pot. What happens with pot is, drum roll, nothing.
That's it.
Nothing. You get high as fuck. The next day you go to the gym, you feel great. Like, there's no health consequences. If I get drunk, and I've been drunk, I feel like shit the next day, man. I just feel like shit.
But what are you drinking?
Anything. If I drink too much wine, I feel like shit the next day.
Yeah.
If I drink too much whiskey, I feel like shit the next day. If I drink too much beer, I feel like shit the next day. I work out, I can feel it. I feel like weakened.
Tequila, I feel fine the next day.
You're a maniac.
But that's all. Just drink it straight.
Whoa, that's a terrible advice.
You don't have
He's
to.
giving this terrible advice.
But the thing is, you don't have to have like fucking, 10 of them. You just have, I have maybe 2 glasses. I sip them all night.
Brian
maintain my
Regan
buzz.
takes a shot before every show. He does 1 shot before every show.
That seems like a damn good idea.
It's not a bad idea because your body really doesn't have a hard time processing 1 shot of whiskey. Like 1 shot of whiskey is like no big deal. It's when you go like 3, 4, you have a beer, you have a fucking margarita. Whoa!
I don't mess around like that. It's just straight tequila.
I'm a huge Hunter S. Thompson fan, and one of the saddest things to me is watching Thompson from the time he was a really young man, when he first started making it as a journalist and a writer, to the way he was as he got older. And I think a big part of it was the alcohol. Like, he just drank so much booze that at the end he was almost incoherent. He would go on Letterman and Conan O'Brien, and you barely understood what he was saying. And you just saw it. It's like, that stuff will fucking get you.
You know who always sounded drunk was Hitchens.
Yes. Well, he was drunk a lot.
He did always sound drunk.
He was drunk a lot, and he smoked cigarettes as well, which is just so unfortunate for such a brilliant guy.
Yeah.
He did smoke cigarettes, right?
He sounded like he did.
Doug Stanhope, what does it say?
Did you ever see him, his booze suit he had when he got on the cruise?
No.
He snuck on all this,
How to
all this alcohol.
Smuggle booze on the cruise ship.
He's wearing, I don't know, liters of whiskey and vodka and mixers.
In those things?
Yeah, he had it all like in bladders and tucked into small plastic bags.
Stanhope's so skinny now.
You can't take the stuff on a cruise ship, I guess. I've never been on one.
That
you
is
can.
hilarious.
Actually, you can't. That's
because
true.
they want you to buy their booze? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but they always have shit booze on board.
They do? So look at this. He's got a suit on. Oh, my God. With bags of whiskey. This is so ridiculous.
You get it tucked. It's like someone in like a movie when they're making jokes about like, give me all your guns, and they have them tucked everywhere.
Oh,
like,
my God. This is so ridiculous.
Everywhere.
But he's ruining it for everyone now. Oh, he's got it in his dick. He's got a tequila tucked into his jockstrap. Are you playing this?
Yeah,
the volume of this?
I'll put it.
Oh, my God. This is insane.
Hilarious.
He had it in his socks. A flask.
Fleischmann's?
Oh, my God.
It's enough for a party of like 25 people, probably.
Not for 25 Stanhopes, though. That's the difference. I love him.
That's what he looked
We're
like.
ready
getting on.
for our Norwegian Cruise Line's Impractical Jokers cruise.
Hilarious.
With smuggled alcohol.
Drop trowel.
I don't want to drop trowel.
Drop trowel. She's just yelling at him, taking his pants down. I should announce this. We're doing an end of the world election night comedy podcast from the Comedy Store. And it's going to be Stanhope and myself, and Fitzsimmons is going to do it. And we're probably going to have some other people, too. And maybe Russell Peters, if he's in town. Fuck yeah, bitch!
What's the date?
Whatever the election day is. Is that the 3rd?
Might be the 7th.
7th?
I think the election's on the 8th, so this will be the day before.
Oh, God. This election's weird, man.
It's a good time to be American, guys.
This is a weird one. This is a weird one because, like, so many people just want to see it play out.
Somebody tweeted, I forgot who it was, but it was hilarious. They said, I can't wait to see the series finale of America.
Wow. It really almost feels like it.
You're going to vote, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson, I think. even though he doesn't know what Aleppo is.
Even though here's the thing: when I heard him ask, when I heard them ask him that question, it sounded like they wanted to know what he thought about something called Aleppo.
Oh,
what do you think about Aleppo?
I think he said, "What are you going to do about Aleppo?"
What are you going to do about Aleppo? And he was like, "I'm sorry." Like,
yeah.
I think the question just confused him.
Well, it's a really important thing to know if you want to be I mean, what has he been doing? Right, he's running for president now. That takes up all of his time. But how much was he doing when he was the governor of New Mexico as far as like paying attention to world issues? I don't know how much you have to. I mean, no more than a regular person, right?
It's always weird that, we get these people running for president that are from, like, states where you're like, do they think about the rest of the world there?
Right.
Arkansas and New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, I think more people do now than ever before. More people definitely think about the rest of the world now than they did, say, 20 or 30 years ago, just because we're in contact with people more, And the internet's giving people more ideas, more things to look up, more things to think about. But, man, not knowing Aleppo, you got to know Aleppo.
What's funny is
I didn't know it.
I didn't know it at the time.
I didn't know it. I knew that there was tremendous issues in Syria, but I didn't know what the name of the city was.
It sounded like a nickname for something.
Aleppo.
And then I being Indian, I was like, oh, I must be asking about a leper.
There was the other one though, where he didn't know any world leaders.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a big problem.
That's a bigger problem than not knowing Aleppo.
Yeah, you got to be careful there, dude.
Yeah,
you got to have some people that you admire.
Yeah,
but I think
look up to somebody in your business.
Yeah, I think he said Angela Merkel, right? Is that what he said?
I don't even think I think his vice president threw that out for him.
Yeah. But that woman is.
Who's running for as his who's his running mate?
Some other dude.
Bill Weld, former governor
Bill
of Massachusetts. Weld.
Oh, Bill Weld.
Oh, that's his vice president? I should know that.
Yep,
I've almost given up. It's like I'm a Cubs fan. It's like they're not going to win. They're not going to win. They're not going to. You know what I mean?
They might win this year.
They might have heard. Bob Newhart's all excited. He's 87. He said he's too old for this shit.
For a second, I thought it was my ex.
But those Cubs fans, man, they hang in there no matter what.
I gotta support Toronto. It's my city.
I understand,
even though I don't know a damn thing about baseball.
But doesn't this seem like it seems like a ridiculous sporting event? I mean, it really almost does. It's almost like who can I demean and insult more to diminish them more contest. Like if you really thought like that about like. Part of it is like they go for the worst aspects of each other and they try to like do it on live TV. It's an ugly precedent to set for the country,
Especially, when they try to justify it, I think, by looking at the rest of the world when they have elections and how that gets really violent in all these other parts of the world. And, you remember when some leaders, I don't forget what countries it is, but somewhere in Europe, the leaders get into fights with each other in their government offices.
Oh, yeah, they have fucking crazy gang fights. Yeah, there's one in some parliament or something like that. Was it in China? Was it in China? Or?
It might have been China or Korea. I think it was Korea because I saw the guy throw a kick.
Oh, I think so. And they went nuts on each other. They started fucking
And then there was one in
Ukraine,
remember?
Yeah.
And Ukraine's not the place you want to do it. And what if, Vitaly Klitschko's you're running against him,
Ukraine people, they're cut from a different cloth. All those people from that part of the world are there's something like extra strong about them. The robustness of the people.
They're survivors.
Fuck yeah, man! It's cold as shit up there.
Cold as shit, and they were repressed for so many years.
Yeah, if you could take some dude who lives in Siberia, some man and his wife from Siberia.
Look at Ruslan Provodnikov. He's from Siberia.
Yeah.
He may not be the best at it, but he sure is the toughest at it.
Well, wasn't Karelin from Siberia as well? Alexander Karelin, the wrestler?
I could not confirm nor deny this.
Do you know who that is?
I do not.
Dude, maybe the scariest guy of all time.
Really?
In the history of Russian athletes, there's one guy who stands out. The only wrestling match he lost in the Olympics was to Rulon Gardner. I think that was the only in his entire amateur career. And I might be wrong about that. But I know he lost to him in the Olympics, and the only reason why he lost to him was like some new rule where if you separated the hands, it would be a point. It was the first time that was ever in the Olympics. So if you're, because they're
What are you laughing about, dude?
Do they use cable grip in Greco-Roman?
They do a bunch of shit, but it's mostly upper body grappling and collar ties. They don't shoot doubles. It's like it's a different style of wrestling. And Karelin excelled.
Oh yeah, dude! I already turned you in for
freak
that.
specimen. He was from Siberia, but he was like 6'3", 300 pounds. Just a ridiculous guy. And there's a picture of him hoisting this guy in the air, and I have it in my gym. I stare at it all the time. Like if I ever take myself seriously, this picture right here. If I ever want to know and really truly understand what a pussy I am, I need to look at this picture of Karelin. He's gritting his teeth and he's hoisting this guy up in the air. Dude, no mouth guard. Look at the size of his fucking quads. I mean, he was a freak. Giant calves.
Yeah.
He was
Forearms.
a freak. And he fucking ragdolled dudes.
How old is he now?
Well, he's a wrestling coach now. I believe, if I had to guess, I would say he's probably 50. See how
I bet
old
you
he is.
Bellator will sign him.
Dude, he almost went to MMA in the 1990s. How old is he? 49. So I'm close. He almost went into MMA in the 1990s. It might have been the early 2000s. I think he was thinking about doing it. Because I know there were some offers, and I feel like he did some pro wrestling thing. I think he might have done some like fake wrestling thing, like for money or something like that. But dude, he was a freak, just a freak, and he would throw guys around in this really ridiculous way, where they were like little children, because he was a big giant dude. Like look at the size of that motherfucker, dude. But he was also really agile. Like these rolls that he could do, these dives, he was like so gentle in a lot of his movements, but freakishly strong. So he had achieved this spectacular balance of incredible technique, but ridiculous, freakish human athletic ability. So he had like the combination of those things. Like look at his technique, like everything is perfect, but he's also tremendously strong. Like the Russian wrestling coaching.
Look on that guy's face.
Russian wrestling is incredibly technical. Well, the Eastern Bloc countries, like they have a super high level of wrestling technical skill. Like that's one of the reasons why Georges St. Pierre is so good, because he was training with these Russian nationals that came over and lived in Montreal. Like that's where St. Pierre learned how to wrestle.
Yeah, he has a solid base.
Dude, he's incredible. Yeah. For a guy that
is he coming back?
I don't know. He keeps thinking about it and talking about it. But I think...
I'm sure you've heard the rumors.
Yeah, well, they're talking about like a super fight with Anderson.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In Toronto.
No one's told that to me.
I've not heard that.
I
mean, I've heard it, but I've not heard it from a human.
If I was George, and I was thinking right now, I would think Georges St. Pierre is... I mean, there's only a small handful of people as famous in the world of MMA as a fighter as Georges St. Pierre. There's Conor, who's the most famous. There's Ronda, who's right up there. Ronda and Conor are almost interchangeable in my eyes as far as like how famous they are. Like maybe more Conor because he's famous worldwide. I don't know, man. It's super close.
I think Ronda affected her legacy by taking that year off.
Well, that doesn't matter. She comes back with a storm. She beats Amanda Nunes and gets the belt. She's bigger than ever.
It's a tough one.
It's a very tough one. But if she does do it, she's bigger than ever. She's got that, whatever it is, that dynamic personality that people get attracted to. And there's something about her losing, and maybe even losing like that could even make it more attractive to some folks. You know, it makes her more human, makes her more vulnerable. You know, one of the things that people didn't like about her was how confident and strong.
She was very invincible at the time.
Well, and she was also like really aggressive about it with other girls. But, yeah, you know, in her eyes, those girls are trying to take something from her.
Well, she was the Mike Tyson of MMA.
Yeah, that's the only way you get to be a champion is if you have like that insane belief in yourself. But when you lose the way she lost to Holly, which is, you know, a devastating knockout, it's always interesting to see how someone rebounds. Some people rebound, they become better. They come back tougher and stronger. And
that's what we're hoping for.
That's what you're hoping for. Well, or some people come back, they fight smarter. That was Georges St. Pierre. When Georges St. Pierre got beaten up by Matt Serra clobbered him. Just clobbered him. Clipped him, hurt him, got on top of him, mounted him, punched him in the face, made him tap. He beat the shit out of him. And George came back better than ever. He just regrouped.
But George also didn't take a year off in between there.
It's true. It's true,
and
but
he
I
didn't
don't
get
know.
on TV, and
No, listen, for sure.
I just think
George is a different person. For sure.
I love Rhonda, but I'm hoping, for her.
I'm a big fan of taking a long time off when you get knocked out.
I get that. I understand that.
I think it's real important.
It is very important. However, what you do in that time and how you present yourself in that time is also important.
Well, she didn't really do much. She kind of laid low, which
She
I
may
think
have
is
laid
really
a little
smart.
too low.
Nah, I don't think so. I see your point, but I disagree. I think she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
I mean, I don't know that it really affected her brand so much, but
you sound like a marketing genius.
That's what I'm just thinking
Dude,
about.
you should have a startup. We should have a startup together.
Let's do it. What do you want to do? Weed for people who don't do weed.
What do you think is wrong with taking a year off? Like
nothing's wrong with taking a year off, but that Ellen interview where she was talking about contemplating suicide.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, I think those are the things that showed the mental makeup, and that's where I think that's what's put the doubt in everybody's mind now.
If I had to do a Brendan Schaub right now, I'd say for sure don't do your first interview with Ellen on TV.
Yeah, and cry.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think those TV formats, although I've done them and I enjoyed them, when you do those things, you can't be yourself in 7 minutes. It's not enough time.
Especially if they don't know you.
And the people you're talking to don't know you either. There's a giant crowd of people, and there's lights that say applause, and everybody's cheering. There's a guy who
the clapping instead of laughing.
They got a warm-up guy who walks around.
Come on, guys.
Okay,
we're going live.
We're coming back live. You guys are super excited. We're excited to have you. Thanks for all your enthusiasm. We really appreciate it. I'm just going to need it. Let's just 10% more, folks.
Yep.
Come on, we can do this.
Yep. Take whatever you got and add 30 to it.
Now, Rhonda, tell us about your head trauma and all these people. I mean, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre way to talk to people.
I think what she should have done was talk to somebody in the fight game. It would have been received a little bit better, because then she would have been speaking to somebody knowledgeable about.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? She can do whatever she wants to do. I don't know what was going on in her head during that time, but I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a year off, getting your head together. And she also had some injuries she had to take care of.
Do you think she should have changed her training camp?
I don't know what she's doing, honestly.
Word on street is she's still right back at Glendale Fight Club.
Listen, whether or not that guy Edmund has had success with some of his students, or like what issues they've had, you can't deny that he's worked wonders with her hands. Like her striking ability, when she was warming up for that Betch Correia fight, and they were in Brazil, they were on the sand, and they're doing these pad drills together. Yeah. She looked fantastic, right? You look at her when she first started striking, you look at it till now, that's a big percentage of that is those two working together. So there's no denying there's some merit to what he does, unquestionably. I mean, he's definitely helping her. You would have to examine the whole camp like a scientist. You'd have to sit down to do this right. Like you got a world-class, world championship level racehorse in a woman like Ronda Rousey, right? Or any fighter for that matter. And if you were the overseer, if you were someone who could say, okay, what is the best course of this thing? Like how do you? Well, you have to address technical issues. You got to address psychological issues. You got to address comfort, nutrition, all these different things. You'd say, okay, technically, what are we trying to achieve? Victory, right? Like, what is her best options? Like, is she training with the best kind of sparring partners? And the thing is, you don't fucking know. Like, one person could do it one way and be super successful. Then everybody says, well, that's the way to do it. You don't spar, and you only do drills, and then you ride bikes. That's what Donald Cerrone's been doing. Or you could go the Eddie Alvarez route, right? Eddie Alvarez sparred like 150 rounds preparing for Rafael Dos Anjos. So he went the other route. He just said, we're going fucking crazy. We're going to go old school.
What up, Hiram? Hiram. Hiram.
Yeah,
Hiram.
Hiram.
You got that.
Harambe. Harambe. Are you streaming, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, Ron's streaming. I'm streaming. The whole world is streaming.
Yeah, we got another hour streaming, dude. Another hour streaming.
Nice.
And thanks to Kevin Murphy for the subscription.
I'm going to start streaming right now, like in 5 minutes, as soon as my coffee's ready.
There's only an hour left to stream time, though.
Yep. So you better get in, dude.
I have cider, and I have Danishes, and I have donuts.
Like apple cider?
Yeah, apple cider. It's good.
Yeah, is it good for you?
No, it's bad for you. It's alcohol. Duh. Tastes good though.
Oh.
Oh, look at that retopo.
Mm. Good times. Good stuff.
I bought pizza and French fries and everything to have loads of good munch. And then I got home and the gas was run out. So I had no gas. So I can't light my oven. It's not funny. It's not funny,
no, it's not. That's the reason it's so funny.
It made me so mad.
I would be mad too.
Yeah, you would.
You're just in your anger, young brother.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. We're going to go in there and brawl and just be completely prepared
But
to
Cerrone
fight.
doesn't continuously train without sparring, does he?
Yes.
How long has he been doing that?
Since the fight with Dos Anjos. He was talking about it. He said, you take too much punishment in the gym. He's like, you're taking too much punishment in sparring. And he had some issues where I think he said he closed his eyes and his equilibrium was giving out. And he was falling. And he was like, what the fuck? And he realized he found out later it was an inner ear issue, I think it was, right?
I had,
ear
like
infection.
a vertigo type thing.
Oh, it was a nose clogging one that had affected his inner ear. I think it was like an infection in some way. But so he decided, let's just do drills. I know how to fight.
Yeah.
And he's had incredible results. So I think some other guys are doing that
and
too.
the frequency that Cerrone fights at as well. He can probably get by without doing that because he's in the ring enough where he doesn't need to be in the ring extra.
I think you're right. I think there's that too. It's like there's a comfortable balance, and it's probably one of the reasons why he likes to fight so much.
He's easily the most active fighter in the game.
He definitely tries to be.
Yeah.
But the problem also is like right now, like setting up the right fight for a guy like him is probably not that easy. You know, I mean,
because he's always ready.
Well, he's always ready, and but setting up a fight for him is like, you know, it's a high profile fight, but it's also a dangerous fight. So you got to say, okay, who do you set him up with? Because after you see what he did to Rick Story,
Can you guys hear me?
you go, holy shit!
Yeah, Pinche.
Like Donald at 170 is like some new thing.
Yeah,
he's a new thing. Like he's way healthier. It's just, it kills me to think that guy was starving himself.
Yeah,
for all those years.
He's a big dude.
He's not small, but at 155, he just didn't have the durability. And at 170, god damn, he's looking good. It's amazing. It's a crazy sport, isn't it?
You know, I love it. So, you know, and I love being there at those things, and you know, when you get to know the fighters and stuff, and you hear a little inside talk, and it's always interesting, you know.
I know it is, man.
Because you know, you realize when you meet them and you talk to them that they're just guys doing a job. They're not looking at it as, I just want to be the toughest guy in the world. They're like, I got to get more money out of this.
Well, there's definitely that aspect of it, but there's also the guys that just want to go in there and be the toughest guy in the world as well.
Those are usually the new guys.
Sometimes, yeah.
The older guys are like, look, I already know I'm tough, and everybody else knows I'm tough. Now I got to monetize this.
Yeah, there's so many factors at play.
And when you're
You
done
know,
with that one,
when
you
it comes to
drop down and give me
fighting,
20.
there's genetics, which play a giant role. There's certain guys that are just built better for it. They just got a lucky roll of the dice.
In front of 5 million people, dude.
Just the design of their body's better.
Yeah,
Their shape is better. Works better. They can hit you harder. Their jaw's bigger.
Yeah.
They can take more
They
punishment.
got genetics on their side.
Yeah, there's always going to be guys like that. So you're seeing guys like that now, but then you're seeing like the mental aspect of it. How many guys have mental coaches now and hypnotists and shit?
It's such a weird game now,
dude.
I mean, any fight sport now is very different than it was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in the '80s when I was training boxing, there was no nutrition. There was no,
Yeah.
I think I might have said it before. My coach would get to the gym. My coach would be like, "Go run," and I'm like, "I just want to box." He's like, "No, we gotta go run." And then I would be like, "All right." Where do I run to? And he goes, "Run."
What'd you say to me?
Torbram and
how many people you got there watching you?
Like 5 million people, dude. Just don't worry about it. All right. How many people you got watching you? All right.
How do you
and 7 and come back, and I'm like, all right. And right at that intersection was a McDonald's.
I just
a little bit down, so I would run to the McDonald's.
I'm just used to it, like the first time that I was, the first like million, it was probably my first stream, so that's where it started off, and yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten used to at least the 5 people looking at me.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Angelo, what the T stands for my last name. It's top secret.
Highly. It's the best kept secret.
Because I made sure I ran there as fast as I could
to get a milkshake.
In America,
I think I could walk back, and then I would run
found the issue
in the last half, so I would be sweating and a little bit out of breath when I got there.
What do you think about this Amanda Nunes Ronda Rousey fight?
Amanda's dude. She's a beast.
She's badass.
She's badass. I mean, I would feel more comfortable if she was coming back against Misha or even a rematch against Holly, but Amanda scares me, dude.
Before Holly knocked out Ronda, I had said that I just thought Holly Holm needed more fights in the UFC, like more people to know who she is. I'm like, I go, and I think Amanda Nunes is the more dangerous fight because Amanda Nunes is a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
And she hits fucking hard, man.
She looks like she hits like a dude.
Yeah, she hits so much harder than most of the women in that division. She's super aggressive.
She's got shorter arms, and she looks like she can crank.
This whole Cyborg thing, everybody wants Cyborg to fight in the UFC, and, they're trying to set up a fight
I would like
Ronda.
Cyborg to fight Nunes.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like,
that'd
if
be a much
Nunes
better
could
fight in my
pack
eyes.
on some weight. So the thing about Cyborg is she struggles to get to 40.
Yeah.
Like,
but
she's so drained when she gets to 40.
Is there a weight class above that?
There should be. There should be a 145.
Yeah, or even a 150.
They should just give her the title at 145. Who is denying that she's the toughest 145-pound woman on the planet? Who's denying that?
Yeah,
There's no one.
I think there's a shit ton of fights waiting to happen at 145, 150 even.
When Victor has a whole 145-pound division, a bunch of them were messaging me. They were tweeting at me after we were talking about bringing.
Is Victor still around?
Yeah, the UFC owns it. They do. I think they own part of it or something, or it's on Fight Pass or something along those lines.
What up, David?
But yeah, man, she's a destroyer. Cyborg is a destroyer.
Yeah,
she's so terrifying. Watch the way she attacks these chicks. Like, that's the 145-pound world champion.
And she looks like Mickey Rourke. So
I think she's a little prettier than Mickey Rourke, bro.
Yo, what up,
rude.
I meant the lips.
I can't take this.
Yeah. I'm going to tweet to her after and apologize.
Apologize now.
Because I don't want Cyborg kicking the shit out of me.
But what's interesting is I wonder if there's a 55. Is there a 55-pound division to be had?
I think maybe I'd go up to 148, 150 at the most, I would say.
I should go check out Ron's stream.
I wonder, because, I think Cyborg's, one of her coaches was saying that if you really gave her the right
that shit's boring as hell, dude. You don't want to watch me.
That would be the division where she would feel the healthiest. Because I think she walks around at like 170-something.
Probably. But she's all muscled, It's not like she's not walking around like me. She's walking around all muscle.
Yeah, she's yoked.
Yeah.
But Amanda Nunes is not that big. She's not as big as her.
No.
So that would be, wouldn't be the wisest fight. Because Amanda Nunes is like a legitimate 135-pounder. But she's a 135-pounder that hits like a dude.
And she's very solidly built. She's very... It's all very compact.
Did you see her fight with Kat Zingano?
I did not.
Did you see how fucking ferocious Kat Zingano is? Because she had Kat Zingano hurt in the first round, and she was getting beat up, like real bad. The first round was real bad for Kat, and she made it out of that round, and she stopped her in either the second or the third. I can't really remember. See if you can remember that, or you don't remember it. I want to say she stopped her in the third, but it was just this brutal fucking exchange, and she eventually beat Amanda Nunes. Katzengano's also knocked out Misha Tate. People forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
Katzengano's a beast. What's that?
Third round TKO.
Third round TKO.
So Kat stopped Amanda. In third round.
But the first round, dude, she had to survive. She was getting beat the fuck up.
And that's all stand up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think she got cracked in the stand up, and I think most of it was ground and pound on the ground, if I remember correctly. But Amanda's just, as far as like her punches from the outside, she's got amazing snap. Like she really knows how to be in the right position, and she drops full like snapping punches on girls. Like she really turns her knuckles over.
She knows her distance.
Oh, dude, she cracks people. She cracked Sarah McMahon. You see that fight?
This room is always active. We're always
dude.
You know, a lot of times I jump in somewhere right around 3 fights before the main event or 2 fights before the main event. So,
yeah, you're one of those cool guys.
No, I watch the prelims and then I get fucked up when I have to change a channel because I'm like, where did it go? How am I finding this? You know?
Yeah, when you're there live though, do you go for the whole event?
I do. I do get there very early.
Yeah, the live event is a different animal, right? Everybody should see a UFC live once.
I always try and get your attention, but I was on the wrong side of the octagon.
Just come over and grab me, man.
Oh, they'll stop me, sir. You can't go this way. And I'm like, all right.
Well, next time come with me. I'll hook it up. But
I see the seats you get for them, and I'm like, where are you? And they're like, oh, I'm with Joe. And I'm like, fuck, that's a good seat.
You could do that. We could do that. Yeah. We'll hook it up. How about Toronto?
I'm in.
Be there for that one?
What is it, December 10th?
Something like that. I'm doing a show with Big Jay Okerson.
Oh, I love Jay.
At Massey Hall.
Can I host it?
Fuck yeah.
That's it.
Russell Peters, Big J, and me. You heard it here first.
What'd you say to me, dude?
It's like December 9th or whatever it is, the day before the UFC. Yeah.
Fucking double
Tickets are not on sale yet. They'll be on sale like in a week.
December.
I said I'm going to get you.
Yeah, it'll be fun, dude. The three of us, that'll be a good old time.
Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
It's funny because he's old.
Oh, so now it's even funnier.
Hell yeah.
That'll be real fun. But what were we just talking about? Oh, the Amanda Nunes Ronda Rousey fight. But if Ronda gets her to the ground, man, it could get super interesting.
I would just like to see one tune-up fight.
No tune-up fights. This is not boxing. The UFC doesn't give tune-up fights.
No, they don't. Fuck.
It's just
give
mountain
fights
after mountain.
You know what I will say, though? That the women have proven to have far more resilience than the men. A lot of times. They're just fucking, their willingness to not tap and their willingness to get in there and
I prefer to not compare them gender to gender because I'm not one of those people. Right. So I just want to let you know that.
I just objectified them in my own little way, guys.
I mean, no need to even compare them to the men. What I'll say is there's amazing athletes and amazing champions in both the men and the women's division. Legitimately now. Like there's no denying that there's world-class talent, but there's also no denying that the highest levels of male talent, there's a bigger pool. But that's natural because there's more men that are interested in competing in MMA than women.
Primarily a male-dominated sport.
Yeah, but the women's side is growing, and you're getting a lot of like really high-level Muay Thai fighters, like Valentina Shevchenko, who's a multiple-time world champion, who comes over and now she's fighting, and she just beat Holly Holm. She beat Holly Holm, and she really like outclassed her with stand-up. Like that was a big aspect of that fight.
I did see that, and that was a big shock for me. I thought Holly would outbox her.
No, Valentina's nasty, dude. She's got that beautiful check right hook, and she's real sneaky with her leg kicks. She's got excellent timing. Mm-hmm. She's a really dangerous fighter for anybody in that division because if you can't take her to the ground, it's highly unlikely that you're going to stand with her and not get cracked. Well, you're going to start getting real apprehensive about your movements.
Like making popcorn or something,
because she throws that beautiful check right hook, or at least she did with Holly.
She counters well.
Dude, she's just real high-level striker. And if you can't get her to the ground, and even if you can get her to the ground, like she's been working on her ground game, and she's very strong. So there's like that fight right there.
Isn't she due for a title shot, though?
Yes.
You're my fan?
Yeah, she is, I'm sure. She's fighting Misha. No, who the fuck is she?
She is fighting Misha, I think.
Misha's fighting somebody in Risha's fighting Rochelle Pennington.
I wish, baby.
Raquel Pennington and Misha are fighting
in New York.
In New York City, yeah. Raquel Pennington's another one. She doesn't get enough respect. She's dangerous, super aggressive, really good timing. Really good timing with her hands.
Are you doing those ones?
Yeah, the Madison Square Garden one for sure.
MSG, New York, and New Year's Eve.
Oh yeah. Like for me, like a fight like the Misha Tate Holly Holm fight. That's about as exciting a fight as you're ever going to see. It's about as exciting a fight as you will ever see. And the fact that there was a round in there where not much was happening, a round or so where not much was happening, where Holly was trying to avoid Misha and was just striking on the outside, that made the ending even more spectacular. Like the lull in that actually made the fight better in the end.
Because it looked like Holly was going to cruise to a victory.
And out of nowhere.
And then Misha dug deep.
Woo.
But
it's one of my all-time favorite moments.
Yep, and then fucking Holly did not fuck. She's like, fuck you, I'm not tapping.
She went to sleep throwing punches. Oh, God.
And it looked like one of those puppets, you know, the one.
Gangster. So gangster. The whole fight. So gangster. And that was on the same card where Nate Diaz beat Conor.
Yep.
I mean, that was one of the main reasons why I decided to stay doing commentary. That card. Because I was on the fence. I was like, maybe I should just stop doing it and then just devote more time to doing other stuff.
Were you offered the Bisping Hendo fight?
No, I told him I'm not doing the ones that are overseas.
Wow, such a good fight.
It was amazing. I enjoyed it. I watched it at home. I watched it here. We watched it here. We did a fight companion.
Did part of you wish you could have been there to commentate that one?
Nah.
I mean, the fight companions are great, but I'm saying.
No.
I just think you would have added.
I think Brian Stan's awesome.
I think Brian Stan's great.
He takes a lot of shit from people that just don't like things that are different, or they just pick a side or something like that. But I love his commentary.
I like Brian. I like Kenny. I like everybody doing it. But, you know, you're that thing.
Yeah, but they could be that thing too. You know who's really good is Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is very good. Very good, especially from the technical aspect. And so is Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, I do like both of them when they do it for fun.
Cormier's also spent so much time doing the behind-the-desk stuff now that he's gotten real comfortable with expressing himself in, like, poetic and interesting ways. You know, like when he's describing fights and he gets hyped up about it. He's got great emotion to it.
Yeah.
It's entertaining as well as informative.
Isn't he fighting Anthony soon?
Yeah, he's fighting Rumble.
Rematch. That's an exciting fight.
The Rumble man's coming. He's so scary.
He is a very scary
He's so scary.
I've seen him at the fights just in the audience, and I smiled because I acknowledged, like, hey, man. And he did not fucking smile back.
He's a bad motherfucker, that Rumble.
But it wasn't like, I hate you. It was just like, fuck you smiling at?
No, he's a good guy, man. Yeah. Rumble's a good guy. He's a very good guy.
I don't know him like that, but I gave him a smile and a nod, and I got a...
It's almost like he's got different kind of bones. Like everybody else has bones that are made out of...
He reminds me of Bruce Seldon, the way he looks.
No.
Yeah, look like his face. I don't know why. I just looked at him and I always picture Bruce Seldon.
Good morning, Vince.
That's weird. Maybe you're
Bruce
racist.
Seldon was kind of a bum.
Are you racist?
No, absolutely. You know I'm a racist. Of course I am.
When did you come
I hate everybody.
No, well, Rumble is a unique specimen. It's just so hard to believe that he was a 170-pounder for so long and was killing himself to make that 170. Goes up to 205 and is one of the scariest guys ever. He's one of the scariest guys of all time.
I don't even know how he made one
for a whole fortnight yesterday.
Fuck, did he make 170?
I don't know. That's a young man's thing.
Did you have good games?
There's Anthony.
Yeah, he doesn't look anything like Bruce Seldon.
Get a shot of Bruce Seldon. Let's see. Maybe not that
picture. These guys
picture.
are streaming, by the way, and your voice is
Not at
There's
all.
a picture of Bruce Seldon where I'm not kidding. There's a picture of Bruce Seldon where he looks really dark, and that's not it. Look at that picture up there on the right.
Bruce Seldon.
See the one where he's wearing the red and white trunks? Yeah, see?
Oh, okay. No, you're racist.
You have to do it in the...
But we got to remember, Rumble survived that storm the first time. You know, the first fight that Rumble and DC had, Cormier survived. Cormier survived that storm and then put his own storm on Rumble. You know, Cormier is he's such a world-class wrestler, and his sparring partner is fucking Cain Velasquez, and the other one is Luke Rockhold. So on a daily, he's sparring with those fucking guys, and
they go hard in AK.
Yeah. And he's arguably one of the best wrestlers to ever compete in MMA. There's like a handful of guys you look at as being in contention for being the best wrestler to ever compete in MMA. Henry Cejudo, of course, Olympic gold medalist.
Yep.
You know, there's a few guys, but Cormier's in that mix. Like, he's in the mix.
I mean, they all give each other something else, you know.
Yep.
What I mean? So that's.
And I think that fucking AKA camp
They're
where
nuts.
it's him and Kane and they're just smashing heads together all the time.
You know, it's funny when I'm up in Northern Cali, I'll call whoever and I'm like, hey, I'm out here, and they're like, do you want to come train? And I'm like, no. They're like, you want to come train at AK?
No, thanks.
I'll call Gil, and he's like, you want to come by Scrap Pack and train? I'm like, no, I'm good, buddy.
Fuck all that.
I'm like, yeah, my level is not anywhere near anybody's level.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get someone to hold pads.
Yeah, I'm a 46-year-old man. I'm a chubby fucking Indian guy. I'm not trying to.
It's fun to be around those places, though.
Yeah, that's what does you in. You go in, you see everybody, you go, yeah, I'm not built for this.
Yeah,
I'm a hobbyist. These guys are lifers.
You have to have the most insane dedication, I think, for any athletic endeavor.
I think below 40, and I would have gone and trained with them, but I didn't know them then. So,
well, it's just a weird thing to dabble in, like dabbling in MMA. You really can't do it. You have to be. Unless you're some freak athlete, there's always exceptions. There's always people that just have ridiculous like apparently that's what John Jones was for the longest time before he moved to Albuquerque.
Right.
He would take time off and go back to New York and train some out there, but not train with anybody like the people he's training with. Before his fights.
Everybody's out there in Albuquerque now training it.
Yeah, well, he moved there, and then once he moved there, I mean, I think everything went up to the next level, but. He was a guy that could take all that time off, come back, and still fuck everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
Just a freak athlete.
Is he
talented
coming back
as well?
Did they lift his ban or?
I don't know, man. I don't think they sentenced him.
Well,
I don't know if he got sentenced.
They sentenced Connor $150,000 for a fucking water bottle.
Yeah, that seemed a little excessive.
But yeah, tiny bit, huh?
Why'd they do that? Why
it's
so
not like
much
he's
money?
a habitual bottle thrower that like we are finally punishing you for this.
Yeah, I'm sick of all that bottle throwing, bro. Yeah. It is a stupid thing to do, though.
It was.
Well, come on. Do you really think he was going to hit him? It's too far away. It wasn't.
I thought it was just hype for the fight.
Yeah, it is just hype for the fight.
And it's not like he threw a glass bottle. He threw a fucking water.
He refuses to fight in Las Vegas after a $150,000 fine.
That's fair enough.
Well, it's a good thing to get the Vegas people to recognize there's consequences to this, but the UFC is so big right now, they sell out no matter who's fighting. Yeah, these 50 hours of community service. Wow, 50 hours is a real week. It's a week worth of work. What the fuck's he got to do?
Yeah, I don't know. That's fucking ridiculous.
Well, they're flexing. People, they like flexing. They really shouldn't have thrown water bottles at each other or Monster energy drinks or whatever they did. That shit's stupid. You're going to fight eventually and throw things at each other.
You get a little amped up. They're young kids,
But ultimately, I think the $150,000 fine is worth it for them. The amount of money that they all made, that everybody made. So the government, the athletic commission gets to step in, slap them a little bit, take a little cash, make a stink out of it. They get to protest it. But the fact is that press conference where he threw that water bottle at Nate Diaz is probably worth $400,000. As far as profit,
right?
How many more people got hyped up for it? People love a fight at a press conference.
Yeah.
They love when someone Don't do it, folks. If you're listening, John Jones and Daniel Cormier. That was one of the reasons why that fight became such a big deal. Is because at the face-off,
but did they have to pay any fines after that?
Fuck yeah, they did. Yeah, they
Not
did.
$150,000
I don't know how much they paid. Well, maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe they want to discourage anybody from doing this further. Maybe they want to say, look,
it's as old as any fight game is,
and it's also real.
Yeah,
like the John Jones one in particular was fucking real. When Daniel put his hand on John's neck and pushed him back, John was like, "Fuck that! That's just not happening." He didn't give a shit if there was 1 million people around. He was only fined $50,000.
Yeah.
So John was fined $50,000 and was ordered to complete 40 hours of community service, and Cormier was fined $9,000 in order to complete 20 hours of community service. So they made a distinction that Cormier was less guilty than John.
Mm-hmm.
But Cormier touched him first.
Did he?
Yeah, he grabbed his neck and pushed him back because John got face-to-face with him and touched faces with him. Right. The fines constituted 10% of each fighter's respective purse for the January 3rd fight. Wow, does that even make sense? That's how little they made? Does that really make sense? $90,000, really? For the title fight? That sounds crazy. I don't know what their deal is because they get paid and then they have like a reported pay and then they have a different pay, like percentage of pay-per-view and a bunch of different stuff.
But they always show it in the papers. And,
they don't show locker room bonuses. I don't know what that means. So
they do show
don't
that.
Get mad at me.
When you
they show it where?
If you go to I follow every time I go to Yahoo News, it tells you the whole purse breakdowns for everybody, and then the bonus for the nightly bonus and the percentage bonus.
No, they do performance of the night bonuses that make that public, but they also do some weird locker room bonus thing.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know what the fuck that's all about.
What did they just?
It's a private company. Is the point? And
didn't they just fine Roy as well?
Yeah, they're gonna fine him. What did it say? What did you just put up?
It was, his Jones attorney was arguing that they shouldn't be paying off a percentage of their purses. And Cormier is scheduled to make a base pay of 90 for the fight, and also a possible 90,000 win bonus. So,
it just seems like a really low amount. It feels like that's not right.
It's 10%.
I know, but it's so low to be fighting for the world title.
Yep.
It seems wrong. I mean, it seems incorrect. It seems wrong too, right?
It's always seemed wrong to me.
At the highest levels, those guys are making some serious cash now. What's interesting is how many people are going to reach that level, and what you're seeing is a lot of people that are trying to sort of generate public interest the same way Connor's done. Mm-hmm. So there's like guys who really never really trash talked before who are really into trash talking now.
They're not good at it either.
But it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. And here's the thing: is it's if you're a Conor McGregor and it comes natural and that's what you do, and that's one thing. But if you're like, you've got a strategy, and your strategy is to be the controversial guy, and you're going to get everybody to pay attention to you. Like, well, that's a lot of work, man.
I mean, Nate is what Nate is, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, on one hand, it's also not what martial arts are at their best. Like, at the very best, they're two guys who want to compete and test themselves against each other at the very highest level, right? And when we think of a martial artist, we don't think of some dude who's insulting someone and spitting at him and throwing water bottles.
I mean, they're trying to take the thug aspect out of it, which is fair.
Well, when you think
because
of like
when you think back to it, it was always Bruce Lee. Everybody respecting and bowing, and now it's just a lot of meatheads who know how to fight.
There's definitely that too, but to achieve the level of like a world class level, like you have to have so much control over who you are. You have to be able to figure out where all your personality pitfalls are and soothe out all the bullshit in your life and concentrate on the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a weird sport, man. There's no sport that carries the consequences of loss like MMA does.
Boxing as well, I would say.
Boxing's pretty close. But MMA, like...
But I think in MMA you can have a loss and still come back and it doesn't affect you that much.
You think it does in boxing?
In boxing, because, it's so fucking shady in boxing. Oh, he lost. No good. We need somebody else. An undefeated record in boxing means a lot more than it does in MMA.
Well, there's only been a few, right?
Right.
That's what everybody strives for. They strive for that Gennady Golovkin, perfect, undefeated record as they go into the big fight, you know? But that didn't harm Canelo. I think Canelo's stock rose in the Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah, because he was so young.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at that fight, as a matter of fact, and I think that Floyd could have stopped Canelo in that fight if he really wanted to.
You think so?
Yeah, he was just hitting him at will. And you could see Canelo going back. I mean, all he had to do was just put a little bit more pressure on him. But I think Floyd, being somewhat compassionate, was like, if I stop this kid, it might ruin his career. So,
wow, you really think that?
I think that.
Wow, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I didn't think that. I thought he's not taking any chances. He's boxing smart, and Canelo can still pop. And he carries that pop late into the fight. And he's dangerous. So if Floyd opened up to try to really hurt him and stop him, he ran the risk of being countered. Canelo's a master.
True.
Canelo's not as fast as Floyd,
right,
but his timing's really good.
It is, but at that time he was still very green.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
And Floyd really was in the zone in that fight. He was just hitting him pop, 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 and then he would crank a right hand on him. You see Canelo go back a little bit. I think Canelo's chin's a little overrated.
Really?
We saw that when who the fuck knocked him down in the first or second round in that one fight.
Yeah, somebody knocked him down fairly recently, right?
No, maybe about around
4 or 5 fights ago.
Maybe about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
He was a younger Canelo then, but do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I definitely don't think he has a bad chin, but anybody can get knocked down, especially early in your career. You know, especially aggressive guys.
I also heard that Canelo sparred with Golovkin before.
Oh,
and
yeah?
Golovkin beat the piss out of him in sparring, and that's why he's
saying no thanks.
Yeah,
not interested in that fight.
He's just I think he's just trying to sharpen up his skill set before he gets back in there with him.
Yeah, man, I don't know how much.
I mean, Triple G knocked down Kovalev in sparring.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I had heard that.
Yeah, even Kovalev said it. He goes, you know, he hits really hard because I wasn't prepared that day, but you know.
Wow.
He said they're also very good friends as well.
Golovkin's a scary guy because he looks like some cute little boy band.
Yeah, he does not look like
character.
he doesn't even look like he throws with power.
He looks like he's from a Russian boy band.
Yeah.
Right? He's so cute.
He's just so goofy, you know?
Yeah, he's adorable. And if you look at his body, it's not the scariest body.
It's just
not
chiseled. It's just he's a thin guy.
Yeah, like you see Rumble knocking people out, you look at his body, you go, well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You see Golovkin knocking people out, and you go, wow, where's all that coming from?
He doesn't have huge legs. He doesn't have particularly big traps. He's
got look at him there. He's got flawless technique, though.
Yeah.
Flawless.
He had over 300 amateur fights.
Yeah, he's so aggressive, too. He's so aggressive, and he keeps a pace on guys that's very difficult to handle.
And he also, you know, people go, oh, he's beatable. I'm like, I just think he does things for the fight game. Like, I know I can knock you out. I'm just going to extend this a little bit just to give people yeah, it's always says it too, but you see him do it. You can see like he basically just, you know, I'm going to make it look like I got comfortable with you. But you know, at any point he gets like, all right, good night, you know, and he could do it at any point.
Well, he definitely, if he wants to risk getting hit, but he bleeds guys. You know, he saps them. He's a left hooker to the body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he stays on guys with combinations, and he's always pressing forward. Like you never rest with that guy.
Yeah, he doesn't move back very often.
Yeah, it's a really interesting style. Because another guy's got a crazy style like that is Vasily Lomachenko.
Oh, Lomachenko's probably one of the best fighters in the game right now.
It's insane.
He's fighting Nicky
technical.
Walters. Is that his name?
I don't know who he's fighting.
The Jamaican kid.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good fight.
Well, he's another guy that, like, if you wanted to see beautiful technical movement and defensive movement in boxing.
When I was training with Arizo, we would go to train at Robert Garcia's gym.
Oh, yeah?
And Lomachenko would be there every now and then.
There he is. Like, look at
this.
He's
a little guy, too.
He's just standing right in front of people, beating them up and slipping everything they throw at him. God, he's so good.
Slick and accurate.
Look at that.
Moves just enough.
Mm-hmm. Look at this. Like, knowing exactly what's coming and when. Damn. He's a really interesting fighter as well because he's so hard to hit, but he's also so aggressive. It's weird. Like, that's not...
Hands down. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Hands down.
But he's lost in boxing, in pro boxing.
Yeah.
He lost to that Mexican dude. What the fuck's his name? Who did he lose to? Oh, old warrior, veteran. Solis?
Omar Solis? Orlando Salido.
That's right.
Salito's a warrior, too.
Yeah. A guy's been around forever. Yeah, there it is. Orlando Salido. That's who he's fighting next?
Yeah, Nicholas Walters.
Yeah, I don't hear you, Bo.
What up?
He's definitely putting some attention on these lighter.
But it was a split decision, so I mean, you know, whenever it's a split decision, you could be like,
oh, damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was apparently a crazy war, and he wants to fight him again.
Do you think
getting in the zone,
should have been a draw or a split decision?
I think the scoring system sucks.
Yeah.
Some people said that first round wasn't a 10-8 round. That
was more than a 10-8. That might have been a fucking 10-7 round.
It's definitely a 10-8 for sure because he knocked him down. He had him rocked. He was standing on top of it. And Bisping survived for sure. I mean, Bisping showed true grit. He got through that. He pressed on.
I don't need all this geometry.
He was in a world of shit, and I think he would admit it. His face shows it. He was all beat up. So that's a significant round. And then there was another round where Hendo knocked him down again, right?
Yep. So that was the second or third.
It's hard to tell, man. But the other thing that balanced that out was that Bisping was way more active. And you got to take that into account. It's not like Bisping was landing all those shots and attacking because Hendo let him. No, it's because he was imposing his game on Henderson. The question is, like, is Henderson's game more impactful? Well, maybe, but there's less impacts. Okay, well, how about damage? Well, damage-wise, Hendo was way
this
ahead.
Guy gave